But then it's also
So you don't leave the sign
to
up
kind of
here or
keep
move
that,
it?
like the tournament alive too. It's like that's why they try to make it affordable so it's not, because it is only 3-on-3, it's not, you know.
I wore my
Good? Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to call to order a regular meeting of the Hastings-on-Hudson Board of Education for June 17th, 2025. We're going to start off this evening with a recognition of our tenure recipients and our retirees. I think this is how we always do it together in Hastings, and I think it's a lovely example for so many of us who view the schools as institutions. It's a glimpse into the beginning of a connection, and also on the other side for how long that connection can last. And I just really want to honor everybody who's a part of that process, especially ones getting tenure have many years ahead of us, hopefully in new facilities. The ones who are retiring, really want to acknowledge this has been a complex and challenging year, and they have all come through it with great perseverance, and so I want to thank them all for that.
So Alex said it perfectly, and so I will just now get us into this wonderful recognition. We will start with the retirees. We understand they're tired after working so long, so we want them to go first. You get a sense we want to celebrate and have some humor here for the next little bit. We then will shift from the retirees into the tenure recognition. Each of the retirees will have some good words said about them. Then we have a special treat for them to take home and keep for a long time. It's a wonderful plaque, and they have a boutonniere, which we thought they could put on and wear around and explain to people why they have a boutonniere on. That's the challenge. I want you to come back to me in the next couple of days and tell me the comments you got out in the village and elsewhere about the boutonniere. After we're done with the retirees, we'll shift to the tenure. And each will be introduced by their relevant administrator. And then for the tenure, there is a formal vote by the board, because the retirees know this is a quite significant moment to be granted tenure. And if several of the tenure individuals and their families today said it's nice to have this so visible, so noticed, and that's because the Hastings board, who makes this final decision with this vote tonight, takes this very, very seriously. This is a commitment to excellent educators, the tenure, who've proven themselves, and the district's committing to them to keep that excellence going. So without further ado, let's start with the retirees, and Scott Wynn will come to the mic first to get us going.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm going to start the evening by speaking about Steve Urich. It is a true privilege tonight to speak about Mr. Steve Urich, a dedicated educator, coach, and mentor whose impact on our school community spans more than 2 decades. Steve began his career at FMS as a math teacher and has been a steady, positive force in the building ever since. His work in the classroom has always been rooted in what matters most, students. Whether he was guiding a lesson on fractions or helping students find their confidence in problem solving, Steve brought a calm presence, a steady voice, and a belief in every student's ability to succeed. But Steve's influence reaches far beyond the math classroom. Over the years, he's worn many hats that we cannot count. A founding member of the Equity Committee, assistant varsity football coach, JV and modified lacrosse coach, basketball coach, chess club advisor, fitness club supervisor, detention supervisor, and a friendly and reliable face at Grandparents' Senior Friends Day. He has even helped bring structure and spirit to our intramural lacrosse program and debate club. If there was a way to support students, whether academically, socially, or athletically, Steve was there, never seeking the spotlight, but always showing up. As Greg Stevens, our math department chair, said so well, Steve has always been kid-centered. I remember when his students came into the cafeteria for a state test, all wearing the same t-shirt, determined to do their best. That's Steve, building a sense of purpose and belonging in his students, lifting them up and helping them believe in themselves. His ability to hold students accountable while showing unwavering support has left a lasting impression on so many. Whether in the classroom, on the field, or simply walking through the halls, Steve has modeled professionalism, compassion, and commitment every single day. Steve, while you may not be here, we thank you for the countless ways you've shaped FMS. You leave behind a legacy that will be felt long after you walk off into the sunset of retirement. Congratulations. FMS's second retiree, Dom Cesiri. Tonight, we celebrate someone who has left an indelible mark on the Hastings community. Dom Cesiri is a name that has echoed through the halls of Hastings for years, and it's not just because of the work he's done, but because of who he is. Kind, generous, thoughtful, funny, and yes, as described by his colleagues, sometimes a conspiracy theorist. Dom has worn many hats over the years. He's been a teacher, a coach, and a mentor. From coaching boys modified JV and varsity baseball, to coaching modified soccer, wrestling, softball, and serving as the lunchtime open gym supervisor, Dom has always been there. Beyond that, he has taken on leadership roles as the interim social studies department chair, the grade 7 team coordinator, and the junior student council advisor. His commitment is rivaled by few. But what makes Dom truly special? It's the way he connects with his students. Dom takes the time to get to know each student, asking about their games, their tests, their families. His ability to make every student feel seen and valued is one of the many reasons his name continues to be spoken with such fondness, even by high school students who may have graduated years ago. As Social Studies Department Chair Greg Smith puts it, every year in the high school, we marvel at how students still bring up Dom's name and recall fond memories of his class. Dom's influence extends far beyond the classroom and the sports field. He has made Farragut Middle School feel like a family. His kindness and willingness to go above and beyond have shaped this community in ways we will never forget. As we say goodbye to Dom, I'm saddened for those who will not have the chance to know his altruistic spirit. But I know that his legacy he leaves behind will live on in the countless lives he's touched. Dom, thank you for all you've done for the students, for the staff, and for this entire community. You will be missed, but your impact will remain forever. Our third retiree, who I know is here, Fred Sandhop. If you join me up here. So today, we have the privilege of recognizing someone who has not only been a committed teacher and coach, but a true mentor to many here at FMS, Fred Sandhop. Fred has always been a force of energy, enthusiasm, and commitment. Whether being the girls' lacrosse assistant coach or the boys' varsity soccer coach, Fred's dedication to sports and to our students is undeniable. He's also served in countless other roles, from chaperoning overnight trips to Washington and Boston, to advising the Junior Student Council, coaching girls' modified soccer, and supervising lunch periods. Fred has consistently put his time and energy into making FMS a better place for everyone. What makes Fred truly special, though, is his care for students. As Melissa Chandroff aptly put it, Fred is funny, gregarious, and committed. He's always found a way to connect with students, from the high fives he gave every Friday to the way he made each of them feel like they mattered. Whether coaching, teaching, or chaperoning, Fred's warm personality and sense of humor have made a lasting impression on everyone who's worked with him. Fred's impact extends beyond the classroom and the field. As Joe Vaccaro mentioned, Fred was always ready to embrace new strategies and ideas, always bringing positive energy to every task. His ability to collaborate and support his colleagues has made him an invaluable part of our team. He's also been instrumental in updating the 7th grade curriculum, ensuring that it meets new standards and serves our students' best interest. And of course, Fred's legacy as a coach speaks for itself. With a 3-time Section 1 championship and a state championship in 2016, Fred has already earned his place in Hastings athletic history. In fact, we can confidently say that a potential induction into the Hastings Athletic Hall of Fame could be on the horizon. Fred, your contributions to FMS are far-reaching. Your kindness, energy, and commitment to making every student feel valued have left a lasting impact. We are grateful for all you have done and will continue to do. You will be missed, but your legacy will truly live on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much. You know, I think Jody Meyer was actually here when I was appointed tenure, and now she's here when I'm retiring.
Jody Meyer voted on tenure for Mr. Sandhoff, I just heard, so well done.
I'm not old, Mr. Sanford.
And our final retiree from FMS, Martha Polstein. Today, we have the honor of celebrating someone whose presence has been a cornerstone of our community for many years, Martha Polstein. If there's one word that sums up Martha, it's dedicated. She is a passionate advocate for her students and her department, and her impact on FMS is immeasurable. Martha's dedication goes beyond her role as a teacher. She has always been a key figure in our community, helping with the SEPTA PTSA Homework Help Workshop, supporting Grandparents' Senior Friends Day, and lending her guidance whenever needed. As Brittany Stample mentioned, Martha has been the backbone of our reading program and has continuously shown a deep commitment to ensuring every student gets the support they need. She's flexible, dependable, and will always go above and beyond for her students, even if it means sacrificing her prep time or missing a class. But what really sets Martha apart is her heart. Larry Saratani put it perfectly when he said, "Martha leads with heart." She makes everyone feel seen, valued, and heard, whether it's a student, a colleague, or a parent. Her calm and grounded presence has been a source of strength for many. And while Martha's impact may not always be loud or in the spotlight, her influence is undeniable, especially within the special education team. Martha builds trust, fosters collaboration, and is always ready to fight for what's best for her students. She doesn't just teach her students how to read. She teaches them to believe in themselves, to be proud of their progress, and to never give up. Donna Gamble described Martha's open, accepting outlook on life, and I think that's a perfect way to encapsulate her. She stands up for what she believes in, but always does so with kindness and respect. As Mary Green shared, Martha has brought a critical lens to our curriculum work, ensuring that every perspective is considered, and she has played an important role in shaping our approach to social justice. Martha, your contributions to FMS have been invaluable. You have made a difference in the lives of so many students, families, and colleagues. Your legacy of kindness, dedication, and thoughtfulness will not be forgotten. Thank you for everything, Martha. You will be deeply missed.
So next, Laura Sullivan.
Hi, I'm here to speak on behalf of Jan Malillo. Although Jan is not here with us this evening, I'm truly honored to speak about her as she approaches her well-earned retirement. I first met Jan 34 years ago. I had just graduated from college and started working as a teaching assistant at a day treatment school for students with behavioral challenges. Jen was already a teacher then, and I vividly remember how naturally she connected with students. She had an intuitive understanding of their needs and guided their behavior with patience and compassion, rooted in the relationships that she built. I often found myself looking to her as a model for the kind of educator that I aspired to become. Jan knew early on that she wanted to be a teacher, deciding during high school to pursue that path. She went on to earn her Bachelor of Arts in English from George Washington University and her Master's in Special Education from Fordham University. Her dedication has always extended far beyond the classroom. Jan has given her time and heart to a wide range of causes, including the Good Samaritan Suicide Hotline, the Environmental Defense Fund, and PETA. In Hastings, her contributions have been equally impactful. She served as a special education coordinator for 4 years, co-advisor of the Gay Straight Alliance for 3 years, peer leadership advisor, environmental club advisor, and the softball coach for both modified and junior varsity teams. Jan's impact as a teacher, mentor, colleague, and advocate has been long-lasting and deeply felt. She brought kindness, integrity, and strength to everything that she did, both in and out of the classroom. While we will certainly miss her presence, her legacy lives on in the students that she supported, the programs that she strengthened, and the colleagues she inspired. Jan, we thank you for your decades of service, and we wish you all the best in this next chapter. You more than earned it.
Andy Clayman.
Our next retiree is Trina Whiteman. Good evening. Tonight I want to take a moment to celebrate and honor someone whose presence in our school community has been a quiet but powerful force for good, Trina Whiteman. I shared this story with the broader staff last week, and I'll share it with you this evening. At the very beginning of this year, when I was still brand new to Hastings and doing one-on-one meetings to get to know everyone, Trina was one of the first people that I had the pleasure of speaking with. What stood out wasn't just her thoughtful insights or deep knowledge, though she had plenty of both. What stayed with me most was the overwhelming sense of care, dedication, and integrity that she brought to the room. That single conversation made me realize just how lucky I am to be here at Hastings, because Trina embodies what's best about Hastings. Her commitment is not abstract. It's personal, it's deep, it's present, and it's real. It shows up in every decision she makes, in every student interaction, and in the way she shows up for her colleagues, most especially her math department team, with whom she's shared both challenges and growth this year. Trina is someone who genuinely loses sleep if she thinks a student isn't getting what they need, and she also celebrates her colleagues' successes as if they are her own. Trina, thank you for everything that you have poured into this community, for your passion, your care, and your unwavering belief in what our students and our staff deserve. We're wishing you nothing but the best on your next chapter. You leave behind a legacy of excellence and a school that is stronger because of you. It is also my great pleasure to recognize a retiree who's not here this evening, Peter Scotch. Peter Scotch is the fearless and deeply compassionate leader of the Hastings Alternative School Program, better known to all of us as HASP. Peter has cultivated and continued to create something truly special, a community where some of our most vulnerable learners feel seen, respected, and valued. That does not happen by accident. It happens because Peter leads with humility, strength, and a deep understanding of what young people need most: to be believed in, to be challenged, and to be heard. He's the kind of leader who doesn't seek the spotlight. Instead, he creates space for others to grow into themselves. He cultivates voice in his students, in his colleagues, and within the program itself. His advocacy for HASP has been absolutely unwavering. Whether he's speaking with administrators, teachers, or parents, he's unafraid to speak truth to power when it comes to doing what is best for our kids. In his ELA classroom, the same philosophy holds true. Peter designs learning experiences that help students find their voice as writers and thinkers, encouraging them to explore important issues through thoughtful discussion and peer collaboration. He does not just teach, he empowers. Peter has built a strong community, uplifted students, and set an example of what it means to lead with courage, clarity, and care. And he will be greatly missed. Thank you.
Laura Sullivan, please join me at the mic. Actually, if you stand there, there'll be a much better photo. So Laura, may I say Laura?
Yes.
So Tesfa Stewart wanted to be here. And Tesfa sent me his words, and they are so spot on perfect, I'm going to read you his words. So know that, yes, Bill McCursey totally agrees with what's on this page, but I could not have said it any better. So here we go. It's a true honor to stand here today and celebrate someone whose work has impacted so many, especially the lives of children who needed someone to believe in them. Laura has always led with heart, putting students first, even in the toughest situations. Whether she was advocating for a child no one else understood, navigating complex systems, welcome to the world of the CSE, to get students what they needed, or simply being a calm presence when chaos was unfolding. Laura made it clear, every child matters, and she never backed down when it came to doing what was right for them. As superintendent now, I can attest that you for 4 years have brought the truth to me in that regard. And while she's poured so much of herself into the lives of students, I can also say, again, this is Tesfa, on a deeply personal level, that she shaped my life as well. Laura didn't just supervise me, again, this is Tesfa, she mentored me, she challenged me, she built me, and most importantly, she took chances on me, real chances, at times when others might have played it safe. Laura saw something in me, and she leaned in anyway. She opened doors, handed me trust, and said, "You've got this." That belief lit a fire in me that still burns today. Laura also showed me that when true strength looks like. Her leadership wasn't about control or ego, but about standing up for what's right, even when it was hard. I've seen her take hits so others didn't have to. I've watched her stand firm in rooms where it would have been easier to stay silent, and I felt the safety of her covering me when I needed to learn, stumble, or grow. She has been an advocate, a shield, and a builder, not only for kids, but for the adults around her whom she believed in just as fiercely. Because of Laura, I lead differently, I speak differently, I advocate differently, I think differently. So today, while we celebrate the closing of a remarkable career, we're also honoring a legacy of advocacy, courage, strength, and heart. Laura's impact doesn't retire today. It lives on in the students she fought for, in the system she helped improve, and in people like me. Again, Tesfa speaking. People she believed in and helped become something more. Laura, thank you for every risk you took, for every time you stood up, and for every quiet moment of support that helped shape who I am. You've done more than lead, you've built, you've grown people, you've made this work deeply human. Congratulations on this next chapter. You've earned every bit of joy, rest, and freedom coming your way. And now let me add one thing. As I read this and looked at it and went back to Tesfa, I said, Tesfa, may I say the following? That everything Tesfa said about your impact on Tesfa has been true for the thousands of students you've worked with since coming here, and especially as your work as Director of Special Education. Those words about Tesfa go to all of those children and students, and Tesfa said, yes, Bill, say that. So congratulations.
I just wanted to say something, and I actually wrote it down so I wouldn't cry, but yeah,
Speak into the
doesn't
mic.
seem to be working. Where's my glasses? Hold on. Sorry. So Tesfa, I know you're not here tonight, and Bill, thank you sincerely for your kind and thoughtful words. Reflecting on the past 18 years, I'm filled with gratitude for the incredible journey I've had. These years have offered a wide range of experiences and opportunities that have helped shape both my professional path and my personal growth. As an educator, your constant goal is to offer guidance, inspiration, and meaningful support to the children entrusted to your care. Yet in an ironic and beautiful twist, many of the most impactful lessons I've learned come from the very students, colleagues, and families I've had the privilege of working alongside. Their resilience, creativity, and compassion have been a continual source of inspiration. The stories we've shared, the challenges we've overcome, and the countless of special moments that have defined my time in education will forever hold a cherished place in my heart. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Thank you for the principals for the comments and for Bill. We're going to move on to the tenure recipients in order.
So the same approach here is I will call to the mic the administrator who has both written for and recommendation the particular candidate. They also will then share words. We'll then move on down the list through all. It's a wonderfully large class of 10-year candidates. Once we're through that entire group, the board does take a formal vote to award and approve tenure. And I see some people from past years smiling because I think they have some good memories of their moments at this point. So first off, I'll call to the mic Amy Kazis, and Amy will proceed.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good
I'm going to
And the
invite,
mic, Amy.
sorry. I'm going to invite Kelly Cavallo to come join me. Tonight, I'm thrilled to recognize a teacher whose creativity, compassion, and tireless dedication have made an incredible impact in a very short time. Our second grade ICT teacher, Miss Kelly Cavallo. Miss Cavallo joined Hillside in late November of 2021 as a leave replacement, but let's just say that from day one, she made it very clear that she was here to stand out in all the right ways. Whether she's creating interactive math games, coordinating matching outfits with her co-teacher completely by accident, or designing beautiful functional learning spaces, Ms. Cavallo brings her whole heart and some very clever Canvas skills to everything she does. Ms. Cavallo's lessons are hands-on, engaging, and designed with her diverse students' needs in mind. Whether students are exploring phonics patterns on a word hunt or reimagining the Hastings waterfront, Ms. Cavallo ensures learning is both rigorous and joyful. Furthermore, Ms. Cavallo's classroom is a model of inclusivity. You'll hear her say, everyone gets what they need, and she means it. With flexible seating, sensory tools, paper choices, and targeted support, she builds a space where every child feels seen, valued, and empowered. Beyond the classroom, Ms. Cavallo has redesigned our PBIS visuals and helped revamp the staff lounge with the Dreamer Committee, thanks to the generosity of HEF. In addition, Ms. Cavallo's dedication to her professional growth is evident in everything she does, especially in her commitment to supporting students with special needs and creating a classroom where every learner can thrive. Her colleagues describe her as generous with her resources, thoughtful in her planning, and deeply student-centered in every decision she makes. She brings both creativity and care to her work, transforming everyday lessons into engaging experiences and going the extra mile to support each child. Families have praised her attentiveness, structure, and the joy she brings to the classroom, often highlighting how she balances high expectations with genuine compassion. And of course, her students say it best, her smile gives me energy, she makes you feel welcome, and my personal favorite, she and Mrs. Adori always match, and they don't even try to. When reflecting on what makes Hillside so special, Ms. Cavallo shared that it's the spirit of collaboration, with colleagues, students, and families that makes this school a place she's proud to call her home. And we are just as proud to have her here. On a personal note, Ms. Cavallo will now be Mrs. Reynolds, as she got married last night.
Now that's a honeymoon.
And what's more, she's here to celebrate with us this evening. It is my pleasure to recommend Miss Kelly Cavallo Reynolds to the Board of Education for tenure this evening. Congratulations.
I'd just like to say thank you. I'm very grateful for this community and excited to continue my career here in Hastings. Last week I was Miss Cavallo, but this week I am stepping in as Mrs. Reynolds. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to invite Jada Dickens up. I am pleased to speak on behalf of Ms. Jada Dickens. When Ms. Dickens joined Hillside in 2019, she started part-time, but it didn't take us long to realize we needed more of her. Because she doesn't just do math, she builds student confidence, closes academic gaps, fosters joy in learning, and collaborates widely. As our math specialist, Ms. Dickens plays a critical role in shaping instruction and supporting student growth. She works closely with each grade level to analyze data, identify trends, and tailor math instruction to meet the needs of every learner. When she noticed a dip in students' math fluency, she didn't just flag it, she found a solution. She introduced an online fluency tool, trained our teachers, and made sure families could support their children at home. That's the kind of forward-thinking leadership that she brings to Hillside. But her impact doesn't stop at numbers. Ms. Dickens creates learning environments where students feel confident enough to take risks. One student put it best, she makes it sound so easy, and then you believe it's easy, and then it gets easy. Another shared, if we can't get a question, she finds a different way for us to get it. That kind of personalized, encouraging instruction builds not only skills, but a love of learning. Ms. Dickens also founded the Hillside Math Club. Yes, our kids are literally signing up for extra math. And she has plans to expand it even further with parent workshops and E&L family outreach. She's also a member of the math committee, helping ensure our curriculum is coherent from kindergarten through grade 4. And if that's not enough, she just completed her second master's degree to deepen her expertise in math education. That commitment to growth is a hallmark of who she is. Beyond math, Ms. Dickens is a powerful voice in our school's equity and inclusion work. In addition to serving on many committees, she advises our FMS Affinity Club and looks forward to co-advising our Hillside Affinity Club next year. Colleagues describe Ms. Dickens as a natural leader, an advocate for equity, and an incredible collaborator who always puts students first. When asked what makes Hillside special to her, Ms. Dickens said, "It's the pride, the way students, parents, and staff all care so deeply. We grow, we reflect, and we achieve greater and different successes each year." It's clear that a large part of that success is due to Ms. Dickens and her commitment to excellence. So tonight, it is my honor to recommend Ms. Jada Dickens for tenure.
I'd like to say thank you first to the board. Amy, thank you. I think Amy saw me very green when I came in, but saw this path before I did myself. I'd like to thank my family, and I'd also like to thank my colleagues for all of their support and motivation, and that collaboration doesn't happen without them either. So thank you, and I'm very excited to continue this journey and to continue growing my students and myself.
And now I'd like to invite up Miss Diana Lane. It is my absolute pleasure to recommend Miss Diana Lane for tenure this evening. Now, I know most people would be a bit overwhelmed starting a new teaching position mid-year during a global pandemic in a brand new district, but Miss Lane is not most people. From the moment she joined Hillside in October of 2020, she jumped in with both feet and a solid commitment to our students. Miss Lane is one of those rare educators who blends academic rigor with genuine warmth. She brings history to life using primary sources, diary entries, speeches, and paintings that give voice to the often unheard. Her social studies instruction helps our students not only understand the past, but also connect with it on a deeply human level. One colleague said she goes above and beyond to create engaging, high-level lessons and then shares them with the team. That spirit of generosity is one of the many reasons she's so respected and appreciated by her colleagues. In Miss Lane's classroom, student voice isn't just encouraged, it's embedded into the fabric of daily learning. Her student-led book talks are a beloved tradition in 4th grade, giving each child a chance to step into the spotlight and inspire their peers as readers. The someday book list kept by each child in their notebooks is a living document, constantly growing as students eagerly add titles based on their classmates' recommendations. And when they're not diving into literature, you might find them sharpening their skills through games like Bacon, Bagel, Quiche, because in Miss Lane's classroom, learning through play is the norm. Miss Lane's students describe her as kind, calm, and someone who brings joy. One child said, "It's nice to come to school and hear a joke." Another shared, "She gives us confidence in ourselves." That's powerful, and that's Miss Lane. She makes time for every student, personalizes lessons, and celebrates students' interests. One student shared, during Hispanic Heritage Month, Miss Lane shared a softball player for a classmate who likes softball. Miss Lane fosters a classroom environment where children feel safe, seen, and supported. Families call her a gem, intuitively inclusive, and one of the most talented teachers they've ever met. And we agree. When asked what makes Hillside special, Miss Lane spoke about the warmth and support that define our school community. She highlighted her incredible 4th grade team and their generosity, collaboration, and willingness to share resources freely, as well as the broader Hillside staff who are always ready to lend a hand or offer encouragement. Miss Lane's commitment to equity, her fierce love of learning, and her calm, steady presence have made a lasting impact on our Hillside community, and for these reasons, we proudly recommend her for tenure. Congratulations.
Just want to say thank you. I'm thrilled to be in Hastings, love Hillside, and look forward to many years being here. Thank you.
And finally, for me, although we have a number of Hillside teachers that will be spoken about by other colleagues, I would like to invite Mike LaRocco up with me. Tonight, I have the distinct pleasure of recommending Mr. Mike LaRocco for tenure, and let me tell you, it is well deserved. He is a leader who makes a difference not only with scheduling, data, and discipline, but with humor and genuine connection. From the moment he joined Hillside, Mr. LaRocco has led with purpose and positivity. He played a central role in developing our PBIS handbook, bringing clarity, consistency, and compassion to the way we approach behavior expectations. Whether it's helping students understand how to behave respectfully on the bus or holding grade level assemblies to break down the code of conduct into kid-friendly language, he is always finding ways to meet students where they are and then lift them even higher. And when students do make mistakes, as they inevitably do, Mr. LaRocco doesn't just correct them. He takes the time to sit with them, and teach where the error was, and then guide them in understanding how to grow from it. He helps turn missteps into meaningful moments of learning, reinforcing the belief that every child has the capacity to improve and to succeed. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't circle back to Halloween to share a little story. This year, to go along with our team theme, I dressed as Mo Willems' character, Piggy. Mr. LaRocco was fully committed to his role as Piggy's best friend, Elephant. And yes, that included a plastic elephant trunk, which he proudly wore all day. Why? Because he knew the kids would love it, and he was right. That's the magic of Mr. LaRocco. He's not afraid to be a little silly because he understands how joy builds connection and how laughter can open the door to trust, relationships, and even learning. Academically, Mr. LaRocco has been a force in enhancing our instructional programs. He supports teachers with keen observations and meaningful feedback. He led our building through the transition to computer-based testing with patience, precision, and a significant amount of tech savviness. Technology is truly an area of strength for him, and the reason our digital transitions have been so smooth and successful. He also recognizes that every member of our school community is an essential partner in student success. His monitor feedback form and training tools have not only improved recess and lunch, but have built a stronger sense of purpose amongst our support staff. But perhaps what I admire most is his unwavering belief in doing what's right for the kids, for the families, and for our community. Whether he's calling a parent to talk through a discipline issue, working with our counselor to support student attendance, or volunteering, cheerfully I might add, to dunk himself in cold water at the SEPTA Family Fun Day dunk tank, he shows up every time. I am so pleased to be able to recommend Mr. LaRocco to you for tenure. Hillside is better because of him, and I'm truly grateful to call him my partner in this important work.
Wow, cool. Excuse me. 4 years ago, I stood here accepting this role and big, wide-eyed, looking forward to all this, but also not really quite sure how this is going to roll out. Here I am, a completely different person. It's been quite a journey. My wife and I added an additional child along the way, so it's been a restart of so many different capacities. So I just want to thank everybody. There's a lot of good work to build on top of. Amy and I have a lot of good planning and things happening this summer that we're excited for September already. But until then, all the retirees, congratulations. We will sing and celebrate your legacy, and to all the tenured folk, congratulations as well. And to the board, thank you very much, and have a good night, everybody.
So, Andy Clayman.
I'm honored at this moment to speak on behalf of Lori Ann Salaski. Lori Ann is an educator whose quiet strength and thoughtful practice have deeply impacted our school community. From my first days in Hastings, Lori Ann immediately stood out. Not because she seeks the spotlight, quite the opposite, but because of the quality of her teaching and her commitment to her students is absolutely unmistakable. She brings an extraordinary level of intentionality to her work. In her visual arts, ceramics classrooms, students are productively engaged in different phases of a project while she's simultaneously conferencing one-on-one with individual students, providing incredibly specific and detailed feedback. Lori Ann meets every student with respect, precision, and care. Her classroom is a place of calm creativity, a space where students feel safe to take risks, to express themselves, and to grow. She knows her students as artists, but also as people. She recognizes their interests, identities, and their potential. That deep knowledge allows her to tailor her instruction so that each student feels both challenged and supported. This year alone, she led a raku pottery residency through a HEF grant. She introduced students to the intersection of chemistry and design elements through a metal plating project. And she collaborated across disciplines to create experiences that are as rigorous as they are meaningful. These are not just art projects. They're opportunities for students to connect across cultures and content areas and to see themselves as capable creators in a complex world. Lorianne also contributed her voice to our school-wide study group on grading, which helped us to ask some difficult but necessary questions about equity, clarity, and what we mean when we say we truly value student learning. Lorianne is a remarkable educator, always growing, always listening, always holding her students to the highest expectations because she believes in them. We are lucky to have her here in Hastings, and I am proud to recommend her for tenure this evening.
I love what I get to do here and all the people that I get to collaborate with. So thank you so much, everyone.
At this point, I'd like to invite up Colleen Walker. I am honored to stand here before you tonight to celebrate an educator whose impact has been both deeply felt and quietly transformative, Colleen Walker. Colleen serves as an English as a new language teacher in a district where ENL students represent a small but growing population. In a setting where many staff have limited experience supporting English learners, Colleen's role is nothing short of pivotal. As we've seen a rise in students needing more intensive language supports, Colleen has met this moment with exceptional skill, empathy, and dedication. Colleen knows her students deeply, not just as learners, but as whole people. She understands their families, their interests, how they're performing across subject areas, and most importantly, where they are on their journey toward English language acquisition. Whether through sentence frames, vocabulary banks, or thorough scaffolding, Colleen ensures every student is seen, heard, and supported. But Colleen's impact doesn't stop with students. She is a resource and a guide to her colleagues, helping content area teachers integrate strategies that empower English learners without lowering the bar of excellence. When 2 new beginning level learners joined our school community this year, Colleen stepped in immediately, recommending tools, identifying peer supports, and ensuring that these students had access to rigorous and meaningful instruction. Beyond her ENL work, Colleen plays a pivotal role in our Exploring Equity course at the middle school, a program that requires courage, care, and clarity. Her ability to guide students and even parents through these important conversations about race, identity, and equity speaks volumes about her professionalism and her heart. Colleen Walker is a compassionate, collaborative, and truly gifted educator. Tonight, we don't just celebrate her recommendation for tenure, we celebrate her unwavering commitment to every learner that she serves. It is an honor to recommend Colleen for a tenured member of our Hastings community.
Thank you so much.
Laura Sullivan.
Hi, I'd like to invite Amy Curran up. So prior to Amy's arrival to Hastings on the school district, she went to Manhattan College where she received her bachelor's degree in science and childhood education with minors in math and psychology and a master's in special education. She worked in PS 310 in the Bronx before joining us in August of 2022. In the short time that she has been here, Amy has implemented consistent structures that encourage student participation in classroom routines and transitions regardless of the instructional model. Amy fosters a collaborative classroom culture, encouraging peer partnerships, shared problem solving, and reflective discussions. Some of her instructional approaches include station teaching, conferencing, turn and talks, and targeted strategy groups. Clear goals and objectives guide her lesson from start to finish. Amy's dedication to instructional planning extends beyond the classroom. She has participated in summer curriculum work, collaborates with the fourth grade team to develop pacing calendars, and partners closely with special education staff and service providers to support shared student needs. As a reading instructor, she regularly gathers and analyzes student data to guide instruction and form flexible, targeted groups. And one of the things that I'm thrilled to share is that Amy recently became a Level 1 certified dyslexia practitioner, having completed extensive Wilson reading system training, which included over 65 sessions and with a student and 5 formal observations, and conducted by a Wilson trainer. It is not easy to get Wilson certified. So based on that, it is with great excitement that I recommend Amy Curran for tenure.
Thank you, everyone. The first word that comes to mind with Hastings, I'm so grateful to have landed here, is supportive. And that's not only for the students, but for the teachers as well. I could not be here without my team, my incredible co-teacher, and the incredible administrators that we have as well. So thank you, everyone.
Next, Leora Fishman. So I was lucky enough to have Tesfa write something about me, and you got the same thing. So I'm going to read on behalf of Tesfa because he was unable to attend this morning, or today. It is with great pleasure to stand here today and celebrate someone who exemplifies what it means to educate with both heart and expertise, Leora. Leora has always placed children at the center of her work. Her compassion is not performative, it's foundational. Whether supporting a student learning to speak more confidently or partnering with families navigating difficulty, she meets people where they are and lifts them. But Leora's impact doesn't stop at the therapy table. Time and time again, she goes above and beyond, especially for new families just entering the school system who don't even know where to start. I've seen her take time after hours, sit with families through uncertainty, and help them feel seen, heard, and supported. Not because it's her job description, but because it's in her nature. She brings calm to moments of chaos and offers a path forward when things feel overwhelming. What makes Leora truly exceptional is that she matches her deep care with deep skill. Her technical knowledge of speech and language development, her attention to detail, and her clinical precision make her a standout professional. She brings the same excellence to paperwork and evaluations as she does to a child's first successful utterance, and she does it all without ever losing sight of the human being in front of her. Leora, your work has touched so many lives, not just through what you do, but through how you do it, with empathy, patience, and integrity. You've helped children find their voices, families find their footing, and all of us remember why this matters, why this work matters. Congratulations on this well-deserved recognition. We are lucky to know you, grateful to work with you, and so proud to celebrate you today.
I'm a speech pathologist, so I have lots of words, but I'll be concise, because that's the right thing to do.
Tesfa had said that Laura took a chance on him, and I have to echo the same because I came to Hastings with early intervention and preschool experience, and she threw me right into the high school and the middle school and was like, you can do this. And here I am doing this and being tenured tonight. It's been really a wonderful opportunity, both personally and professionally. There's been a lot of growth. And my colleagues who are here and didn't have to be here, thank you.
Maria Angela. I think it's important to hear a little bit about Maria Angela's background. She completed her Bachelor of Arts of Psychology from Boston University, her Master's in School Psychology from Long Island University, and then went on to complete her certifications in school building and district leadership from the College of St. Rose. Prior to coming to Hastings, Maria Angela was a clinical research coordinator for the Schizophrenia Research Program, a school psychologist in the Bronx, an adjunct professor at Mercy College, a supervisor of psychologists in numerous districts throughout the New York City DOE, and she speaks fluent Italian and conversational Spanish. The wealth of background experience Maria Angela has brought to the Hastings-on-Hudson School District has not gone unnoticed. In other words, we got really lucky hiring you. Maria Angela has spent a great deal of time working with CPS students and families to streamline the process and provide support and guidance when needed. She's partnered with local agencies and services to create opportunities in which students can receive additional support when needed. She has consistently participated in the Tri-States Directors Meetings as well as the monthly PPS meetings through Southern Westchester BOCES, in which changes to special education on both the state and federal level are discussed. I added federal level in there, but because anyway, Maria Angela is a student and family-centered. She's creative in her problem-solving skills by looking for ways in which she can support children. She's collaborative with all stakeholders, including parents, support staff, faculty, and the leadership team. It is with great excitement that I recommend Maria Angela Sanchez for tenure in the area of special education.
Thank you. Let me get my notes. I'll try to be quick, I promise. I know this is... Okay, so I'm going to try to keep it short because I know no one's ever said, wow, I wish that thank you speech was longer. First, a huge thank you to Laura. Your guidance, patience, and ability to make sense of the chaos that sometimes comes with special education have been a true gift. You've been a true mentor, and I'm grateful for you taking a chance on me. That seems to be the theme of the night. To the district team and my fellow administrators, thank you for your unwavering support and for championing the work that we do. You've made me feel like a valued part of the team since day one. To the board, the teachers, and the support staff, I genuinely feel really lucky to work in a district where collaboration, laughter, and a deep care for the children are part of every single day. And in this role, I've had the privilege of working with so many incredible families and students, and while not every day is easy, every day reminds me why this work is so important. So thank you for believing in me and for this recommendation for tenure and for being part of this meaningful journey. I'm honored, and I promise to keep showing up, giving my best, and I'll continue to email you too much. I'm going to actually stay up here because I'm next.
So next is Maria Angela Sanchez. There she is.
Bill, do you announce the next person? Oh, I announced the next person. Okay.
It's all
All right, Christina Hattie
Delegation.
George. I'm sorry you have to stand in front of all of these people. So it is with great pride that I recommend Ms. Hattie George for tenure. Since joining Hillside, Christina has brought her dedication, creativity, and warmth into every single corner of our school. In the classroom, she creates a space where students feel respected, supported, and challenged to grow, academically, socially, and emotionally.
From introducing the calming tree to supporting students with personalized behavior systems, she meets the children where they are and helps them thrive. Christina's thoughtful planning and preparation have elevated instruction across the school. She introduced the Haggerty Phonemic Awareness Program to all teachers K-2 and developed a hands-on digital math resources. She brought in effective literacy tools like Super Reader Powers. She uses research-based reading interventions to strengthen students' literacy skills, ensuring that each learner receives targeted, evidence-based support to grow as a reader. And hats off to you because you've had so many students exit reading instruction this year. She actively engages students through turn and talk routines and meaningful questioning and continually reflects on and adapts her practice to ensure all learners are included. Her work on the PBIS committee, the Dreamers committee, and the Hillside Garden exemplify how deeply invested she is in the school culture. Christina's professionalism, creativity, and collaborative spirit make her an invaluable part of the Hillside community. She is not only an exceptional educator, but also a thoughtful colleague, a trusted teammate, and a model for continuous learning. For all of these reasons, I strongly recommend Christina Hattie-George for tenure. We are grateful for all that she brings to Hillside and Hastings, and we are excited for her future that lies ahead. Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you so much. I am so proud to be a part of such an amazing district. I couldn't do it without all of my team at Hillside and all the teachers and administrators as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, so next up, I have Miss Susie Pontillo, who may or may not have some toddlers in tow. So Susie was very brave in bringing her whole family here. I have children the same ages and opted not to. And Susie also started this job with like a 6-month-old. 6-week-old, so hats off to her. So it is my honor and absolute pleasure to recognize and celebrate Miss Susie Pontillo on the achievement of tenure. Ms. Pontillo has dedicated 17 years to the field of education. 14 of those years were in New York City Department of Education, and the last 3 here in Hastings. Throughout her career, she has brought consistency, compassion, and innovation to her work with the students and colleagues alike. Her commitment to planning and preparation is unmatched. From creating a digital plan book that enhances collaboration across her ICT team to working closely with her reading and grade level colleagues to ensure instructional alignment and student success. Ms. Pontillo builds a classroom environment where all students feel supported, seen, and included. Whether it's flexible seating funded through a SEPTA grant, classroom technology, or thoughtful buddy programs that foster empathy and engagement, she creates a space where every child can thrive. Her leadership extends beyond her classroom, from shaping curriculum in math, science, and social studies to serving on key committees, including social studies, PBIS, and our interview committee. Susie not only elevates her students, but also her colleagues through thoughtful planning, collaboration, and a deep commitment to shared success. She continues to grow as a professional, engaging in training across a wide range of areas, from restorative circles to AI tools for special education. Susie, your dedication over these 17 years has made an incredible impact. Your students, your colleagues, and this entire community are better because of you. Congratulations on this well-earned and well-deserved milestone. We are lucky to have you. Guys, you have to congratulate your mom.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity. I really appreciate my village, both at Hillside and 3KP and at home, so thank you again.
And now Scott Wynn will bring us home.
There we go.
Start at the middle school and end at the middle school, the way it should be. Danielle Del Cerro, come on and join me. So Danielle, you get a surprise. You get two of us. So it is an honor to celebrate a truly dedicated and compassionate member of our team, Danielle Del Cerro, who is receiving tenure as a school counselor. Danielle's journey to FMS has been unique, with a background as a quality assurance specialist, working in an academic resource center, and even as a legal assistant, before she found her true calling in school counseling. Before joining us, she worked for many years in the Livingston Manor Central School District, where her impact was felt just as strongly. Since arriving at FMS, Danielle has brought her kind, conscientious, and dedicated spirit to everything she does. From her work with students to her involvement in numerous extracurricular activities, like the PBIS committee, the Junior and Senior Students Against Destructive Driving program, and the school improvement team. As a school counselor, Danielle doesn't just talk to her students. She listens, supports, and empowers them. Her students view her office as a place where they can find guidance, understanding, and a safe space to explore their emotions. As Jocelyn Perez has pointed out, Danielle invests her time, energy, and resources into creating meaningful lessons in groups that equip students with the life skills in a safe and supportive environment. Her students know they can turn to her when they need her help, and that's a rare gift. But it's not just her students who benefit from Danielle's wisdom and care. As Lori Offiero said, Danielle exemplifies the spirit of teamwork, always going above and beyond for both her colleagues and the department as a whole. She has developed strong, trusting relationships with her peers, helping them navigate student concerns and classroom culture. And as Scott Tesler humorously pointed out, not only is Danielle an amazing counselor, but she also knows her way around TV shows, specifically The Simpsons and The Golden Girls. It's these little touches, her warmth, her sense of humor, and her commitment to making every interaction meaningful that makes Danielle so special.
Thank you for indulging me. Jeanette Coker, I came out of retirement to do this because this girl is so special. So you know that part of you that instinctively knows if something feels right or doesn't feel quite right? Or as Magnum PI, the 80s version Magnum PI, used to say, that little voice inside of you? Well, from the first day that I met Danielle through that first interview, my little voice was screaming, this is the right person for this position and the right person for Hastings. And boy, were we right. She, as you heard from Mr. Wynn, has been a busy bee. Good for you. She's not afraid. She is a team player. She's not afraid to work hard for her families, get in there and give the wealth of knowledge that she has to her families in support of what they need. Always perky, always upbeat, smiling no matter what the situation is. I can attest to that. And it's a rare quality that while she does all this, she exudes something called calm professionalism. And those of you that have hung out in the guidance office ever, not always so calm. This gal's got it, okay? That feeling transcends to her students, her families, the staff, the administration. I include myself in that too. And simply put, it's her presence and who she is. So Hastings is lucky to have her in her camp, and I'm going to probably maul this right now, but ti auguro buona fortuna per il futuro.
So Danielle, we're so lucky to have you as part of our team. Your dedication, kindness, and professionalism have made a lasting impact on everyone here. And it was with great pleasure that I recommend you tonight for tenure as a school counselor.
I just want to thank you. It's really such a pleasure to be here. I really can't thank Jeanette enough. She just has been such a pleasure, and she really guided me since I've been here. Of course, I can't say, give thanks without especially recognizing Jocelyn. Jocelyn has been an incredible partner. She is like my person and somebody that I go to, and we have all the ups and downs of middle school. Scott has been great, and I wouldn't be here without him, and we're going to miss him. And for all the people, of course, Terry and Scott, Dr. Tessler and Miss Frank, and of course my husband and all these wonderful people. So thank you, everybody. I'll end it now, but whoever I forgot, I apologize. So thank you.
Before we move on, I want to really thank everybody for showing up tonight. It really made this a special evening, and I want to thank the speakers for putting such effort into the background. And I also think I speak for everyone on the board that after a year speaking so much about the buildings, it's extremely heartening to talk more about the people within them. So thank you all. With that in mind, is there a motion?
Alex, I want to piggyback on that.
Sure, of course.
I just want to say that I think that this evening so far has been incredibly moving and powerful. Actually, it's going to bring me to tears, but there's something about being here to recognize people who are retiring, who've had an incredible impact on the district, several of whom were very important in my own children's lives. And yes, Mr. Santop, I think you were pretty much an early on teacher when you taught Savi Science, and you coached, and he coached along with you for soccer. And Dom Cesari's not here, but I've said it many times at a board meeting, I totally credit him with one of my sons becoming a middle school social studies teacher, totally credit it back to him. But everyone else who's retiring, many of whom have been in the lives of my family, some whom aren't, have given so much. And I think to be recognizing people who are retiring at the same time that we're voting and welcoming this new class of tenured, sounds like phenomenal teachers to the district. And just the thought that, many, many years from now, hopefully you'll all still be here and you can come for your own retirement, but there's a long journey ahead of you. And I think being in Hastings is a wonderful place to take that journey. And so I think it just gives all of us such pleasure. These are the good things. This is the good stuff. Like Alex said, it's enough about the building. I mean, we got to do it, but this is what it's about. It's about people, it's about teachers, it's about kids and families. And this is part of one of the things of being a board member that is such a wonderful part that we get to play in the district.
Yeah, thank you, Jody. It's very kind. It's very kind. Thank you again. So with that in mind, is there a motion to improve tenure for our tenure recipients?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Congratulations.
So, if I may, Alex, we're at a transition. Tonight has been wonderful. I want to thank Tricia Chaparro and Melissa De Libera for doing everything that amounted to you getting here, you knowing you had to be here, all the food and refreshment outside, which I think is still there. So retirees and now tenured members of our community, if on the way out you'd like to have 5 pieces of cake or 6 cookies, bags of pretzels, all the rest, there's lots of soda. It's a wonderful honeymoon start. So all of you enjoy the honeymoon and have a good evening.
I voted. Yeah, we voted. Thank you. Voted.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay, thank you. Just give him a moment to get out.
We're going to, 1 minute, we got 2 more things to do.
Yeah. So, we don't have tenure board, student board liaisons, but we have to recognize.
wait.
We're starting.
Starting.
Yep.
It's so noisy, though.
All right, sorry. They're almost.
I have cookies that I'll pass around.
Okay.
You might need to be a little louder so everyone can hear what you're going to say.
I just want to say that Kai Dirkson's going to be leaving us after this meeting, heading off to college, and we really wanted to take a moment of recognition tonight because I have to say, even going back to when you were in 11th grade, the meeting, the Lycos meeting that you were at the end of the year last year, the talk you gave, the speech you gave, and everything, it's just your presence on this board has been invaluable, and I feel like for all of us, I've described being a board member as a little bit, for me, like, painting a painting through a keyhole. Like, you don't really know what goes on in the schools. You don't really know what effect you have. And you guys, you opened the door for us in a really essential way. And particularly, Kai, for me, your ability to be a thoughtful representative for all the people who, when you speak, I sense the people behind you, really well. It comes through. It's been absolutely invaluable. And so I'll open up for some comments, and then we have a little recognition for you as well.
Kai, it's been thrilling to serve on the board with you, and when you speak with such a strong, clear presence, and it's also very evident that you're a leader amongst your peers, and even with the peers of adults in this room, and I can't wait to see where you go and what you do in the years to come. Thank you so much for your service to the district, the high school, the middle school, the elementary school, and all that you've done.
Thank you.
So, any other board members? So,
I want to
The
say,
only
I
thing
think
I
you
wanted
said
to say, I guess now we're all talking over one another.
Go ahead.
yeah, because I have some once, I'll go last, but go ahead.
I was just going to say that you bring a quality of joy, being informative, and being down to earth. And as a board member, that's really what matters to us. So the fact that you have set that example and a standard that's so high, I'm really happy that I had the opportunity to serve with you these last 2 years. And I also just feel like so attached to the fact that you're there also as somebody who I've seen grow up through the years. So it's really special, and I really am so happy for you to be moving on to this next exciting chapter in your life. You're going to do such amazing things. So thanks for being a part of this board.
I think Sylvia really said what I was going to say to you, and that in some ways, I think you set the bar kind of high for being a student representative on the board, right? But everybody has their own style, so there's no need to worry about that for our 2 representatives next year. But Kai, just thank you. It's been a pleasure to have you on the board.
I wanted to add too, sitting next to you has been a privilege of mine. My regret is that I only got to sit next to you for a year. You really are a leader, and you've really embodied what authentic youth-adult partnership looks like, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the amazing things that you do.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Well said.
So if I may just add, as the board may know, you've spoken here about the influence in Hastings, but Kai has had influence statewide. Because you now know there's a state law in New York State that every school board must have a liaison role. Now, Hastings has had it for a long time, had a particular design of the junior-senior seat, the flow. I think Louis Pietro, working the board, may have designed that. In the public record tonight will be the training process we use. I shared that with the board over the weekend because I was asked, and it's due to Kai and Ileana that I was asked for how do you do this in Hastings? What's your secret sauce? Because last spring, while the superintendents and some board members in the entire Westchester County knew that the governor was thinking of this idea, and frankly, as Kai's heard, a lot of nervousness amongst especially superintendents, because our boss is the board. I'm your only employee. So that's how superintendents across the state think, that now they're putting a student on that board, now non-voting, but still influential. But in that room last spring, Kai, and particularly you, and I think Ileana would agree, you brought a sense of intelligence, compassion, understanding, balance that assured that room of some 200 people that this is a good idea. We can make this work.
Right.
So, Kai, you have had an impact more than you realize. And lastly, at the table, you bring the truth. But in the privacy of my office with your Ileana and now with Elliot, you have brought the concerns that are there both for the students. Big ones. Teacher contract levels, potential music program cuts, potential cuts to the high school this year. You came into my office and said, I am a public official. I'm in this room letting you know how people think and feel. So you were excellent about picking your moments, but in a way that I wanted to listen. When critics can bring it so you want to listen, that is perfect. So well done.
Well done.
Moving on, we also have, I guess retirement is the right word, of a very long time serving board member in Sylvia Robles. That it's hard to admit. We all tried to deny it, tried to dissuade her. But it must be said that in the 6 years, we were reflecting, we're talking on our thread, that you came on during a bond, you leave during a bond, and it's kind of like a reflection of all, you were busy all along the way. And one of the key things, Bill jokes about it, that you're sort of, for us of the generation with the E.F. Hutton, right? When you speak, everybody listens. It's absolutely true. But I also feel like, as an adult, oftentimes, we don't really study things anymore necessarily or learn things like that, but we learn a lot from other people. And particularly for me personally, when you see somebody, how they do something, it sort of opens a door in your mind like, oh, that's how you could do it, or that's how it's supposed to be done. And the best thing I can say is that at almost every moment that I've had with you over these years, even before I was on the board, I was watching, thinking about being a board member, I've had that feeling, like that's what it's supposed to look like, that's how it's supposed to be done. So congratulations for upholding that incredibly high standard through some incredibly hard times in this district.
Well, my biggest regret is that I didn't join the board earlier, so I could have served longer with you, because you're a phenomenal board member and colleague. Whenever you speak, something brilliant comes out of your mouth, and I feel like I'm constantly learning from you. And your legal mind has informed and influenced our decision-making in myriad and invaluable ways. In addition, your compassion and your vision for what's right and just in education is always compelling and keeps us focused and centered in our work. And lastly, your keen sense of humor makes it ever more fun to be part of this board. You will be sorely missed, but I look forward to post-board life and hanging out with you.
I want to say that Sylvia has been an amazing peer from my first conversation when I was thinking about running for the board. She's always been so supportive and encouraging, and a great mentor to me, and someone that I very much looked up to. She's smart as you can can be. I don't think anyone can be smarter. She's got great judgment. She can come up with, the document that we're trying to find in a matter of splits of a second. Very strategic, and then so genuinely kind and sweet as a person. And your eloquence is really second to none. You really are E.F. Hutton. It's like a mic drop every time. Even like Jody, like I never want to follow her because she's got such eloquence and grace in how she states things. It's like, yeah, what she said. Very hard act to follow. We'll miss you, but you've made a lasting impression on all of us. And I want to thank you for all that you've done for the district.
I will go next. It's been such an honor to serve with you, and I am so moved by your passion and your sense of ethics and your professionalism and humanity that you have brought to this role. And I've enjoyed every conversation with you. And it's just been such an honor. And like Alex says, I have learned so much from you, and I want to still keep learning from you. So I'm going to find you and make you take walks with me on the aqueduct. It's been wonderful the past 2 years to sit with you. Thank you, Sylvia.
Just to add on what everyone's saying, I served with Sylvia on the policy committee, so I had an extra little bit of time in the 1 year that I've been here. But one reflection that I had is every time you speak, Sylvia, my ears perk up, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. Because you find something in there that I feel the rest of us just don't see, and you pinpoint on it so perfectly in the way that you state it. And it's a skill I wish I had. I could learn from you, but I don't think I'll ever be able to do it the way that you do. So thank you so much.
You know, Sylvia, I'm glad this is being recorded so you can go back and listen, because what everyone has said, has been so spot on. I am so sad that you are leaving the board, and I'll never forgive you for it. But I've been on a lot of boards with a lot of people, and I do have to say that I don't think there's anybody like you. You have a combination of, this really reduces it in not a very soft way, but like your EQ and your IQ are remarkable. You are off the charts. And as everyone has said, you just have a way of saying things, of getting to the point, of pulling up the right document when it's needed. But it's your wisdom and your vision that you can cut through things to what's really important and what matters and how we need to be thinking about things and looking at things. And you have given so much to this district through the PTSA, even before you came to the board. And you've been an incredible role model for everybody and for your own sons, I believe. And I just want to thank you enormously. It has been one of the great pleasures of my coming back to the board has been being able to work alongside you and spend time getting to know you better. And I just want to thank you. We will miss you, and we may even call upon you. So you can take a little bit of a hibernation, but don't go too far away. But thank you really from the bottom of all of our hearts.
And the community.
And the community. You have done a great service for this community through some pretty tough times. I don't know that it gets much tougher than bonds and COVID, really. Thank you.
I just really quickly wanted to say thanks to all of you, everybody around this table. When I contemplated going into public service, I don't know that I could fathom what that entailed. Bookending my career with COVID and then a bond, it's been something else. And I would say that if it wasn't for really the support of the 6 people that I've served with in different permutations over the years, it's really quite a difficult job, what we do. And I don't think that people understand, because they tune in and they see us maybe for a couple of hours here and they think, well, you know, that's the level of participation. But it's not. It's the preparation that goes into these meetings. It's the research that you do. It's listening, distilling, and then trying to help to make decisions that are of best interest and in the service of our students, of our district, of our staff, of our administration. And the reality is that the one constant is change. It might sound trite, but it's true. And so, you know, as I've seen over my 2 terms of service, I also believe that with progress comes change, and that also calls for different people to be around the table. And when people ask me, you know, after these 6 years, they've been tumultuous. I say, you know, they say, how do you feel now? You know, you're done, it's great. And I say, you know what? I feel really sad.
Yeah.
You know, I actually feel really sad, because for as difficult as it has been, and it has been very challenging, because in our times, there's also, you know, what we don't speak about is the toughness that you are subjected to from when people kind of toss completely unwarranted accusations at you, and you kind of just have to swallow it. Because you're thinking, I'm doing this for my community. This is my way of giving back. And as difficult as it's been and as time-consuming as it's been, I don't regret it. I mean, I am so constantly impressed by the dedication that I see from our teachers, the support staff, our administrators at this table. Our central office is like second to none.
Yeah.
And it has been a hell of a ride. But thank you. Thank you to this community who gave me an opportunity to serve in whatever small way that I could, and that has been so generous in providing such an excellent education to my 3 children, 2 of whom are now moved on. So thank you to the community of Hastings and to our school district. And I'm so honored to serve with all of you guys, really, truly. It just moves me so much.
So I'm going to present you firstly with flowers. And this is a plaque from the Westchester Putnam School Board Association commemorating your service. There's an additional plant. This should be waiting for you at home. By vote.
You're not about to it.
But maybe not. By vote, I think we felt this looked most like West Coasty, so we don't this. And then this you can open later, but you might guess what it is. But yeah. But congratulations, Sylvia. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so
much. Goodness. Okay. Moving on. So our final student report of the year, and for Kai, the final student report. So
Of a lifetime.
Of a lifetime. So welcome, whoever wants to start.
All right, well, first of all, thank you all for your kind words. It's been a lovely 2 years, and I'm so excited to hear from these guys about what the future holds. So speaking of these guys, I would love to introduce you all to next year's junior liaison, Joaquin Toledo-Che.
Welcome aboard.
I am more than thrilled to be passing the senior torch to Ella and to be welcoming Joaquin to the table. He is more than deserving, and I'm sure that you will all enjoy working with him just as much as you've enjoyed working with me. So,
excellent.
Huge congrats and welcome. On to business. The senior awards night happened yesterday, so this was an invite-only event where seniors received scholarships and honors from various organizations and subjects. So these were things like They were money scholarships, they were plaques and awards and medals and all sorts of things. So huge congratulations to everybody who won last night. On the opposite end of the spectrum, the kindergarten moving up ceremony was this morning, and they did so well. I might be biased, but they all performed beautifully. The parents were cheering, they were laughing, they were crying, so about as much as you could expect from a graduation. Like the kindergartners, the fourth graders have their moving up ceremony on Friday. I personally remember the excitement of being a middle schooler, going into the new building, so I can only imagine what those guys are going through. So I want to congratulate the class of 2032 and welcome them to the Farragut building. FMS Recognition Night is also on Friday, so it makes me so excited that this week holds not just one, but 2 graduation celebrations for my family. So my little sister and the rest of the 8th graders have their moving up ceremony and the recognition night. I'm really excited to see what this will look like unmasked. Mine was very different than hers will be, so huge congratulations to all of them. And their ceremony will be followed by an 8th grade dance to celebrate all their achievements and have a night of fun. I'm sure it will be fantastic, and I look forward to seeing all the pictures and hearing all of the gossip that I'm sure will ensue as their final act of middle schoolism. Graduation is sneaking up on us, so these past few months have really sped by to me, but tomorrow evening we'll be receiving our diplomas. Wow. Earlier today we got the opportunity to walk through what the ceremony is going to look like, which hopefully will be outside, weather permitting, and we had a lovely lunch from the PTSA, so thank you for that. Got us really excited and prepared for tomorrow, so I can safely say that we are all really looking forward to it. And one of our last events as a senior class, this morning we all met outside of Hillside for the senior clap out. So we were led by members of the Hillside SU Student Union through the halls of Hillside, which were lined by students and teachers who all applauded us as we walked through and reminisced on our days in the building. So it was incredibly sweet, and it was just this fantastic full circle way to end our senior year.
Oh, congratulations. Thank you, Kai.
So starting off, not too long ago was the NHS induction ceremony, which formally recognized the incoming senior members of National Honor Society. So we were presented with our certificates and stoles, which will be worn at graduation. And also over the course of the coming year, we will be able to support our community through service hours and tutoring, and we'll uphold the values of the society. And this is truly an honor and accomplishment, so congratulations to everyone.
Oh, that's nice.
And then this past Saturday was the jazz picnic. While I wasn't able to go, I heard from plenty of friends that it was a great day and it was filled with amazing music. And I want to give a huge shout out to Mr. Day and all the groups who performed. Also this past Saturday was the Theater Booster, and this was organized by the Hastings Theater Parent Booster and also Valentina Demne and Jet Spiro, as well as many more people. And we were presented with amazing performances featuring each of the casts of the productions this year. So this included Finding Nemo, Wizard of Oz, Mamma Mia, and more. And it was truly such a fun event, and we sang all these songs, and it became nostalgic at the end because the seniors sang One Last Time from Hamilton, and I almost cried. So I applaud all the organizers for putting on such a fun and memorable event, and I'm sad to see the seniors leave, and they will certainly be missed by the theater program. And then this Thursday, we have Juneteenth, which we'll have the school day off, and the day is being honored with some conversations across the district about the day's historical significance and its relevance today. And I know that some teachers will also have their own traditions, so that is super exciting. And then also, the FMS Grade 6 Accretion Festival was split between last Thursday and next Wednesday. So the 6th graders will spend a day playing knowledge-based games inspired by the Olympics and have a Grecian feast. So congratulations and good luck to all the teams. And then finally, our last day of school was yesterday. It was a fun but sad day because most of us had parties with food and games, which I played cards with my friends. And it was also saddening to note that it was our last day with our teachers, and obviously some of them are retiring. So lots of sadness, but kind of melancholy. And we also are now moving on to finals and regents, so our week will be filled with late night study groups and last minute cram sessions. But as we end the year, I would like to wish everyone a wonderful summer and cannot wait till we meet again next fall.
That's lovely, Ella. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Moving on, in recognition of the audience we have, I'm going to actually move public comment up. So we're actually going to, I think we have a sign-up sheet?
That many people.
Oh, Melissa left.
Well, the sign-in sheet's right there on the podium.
Okay. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Maureen. So we're going to actually open up for public comment. Please adhere to the 3-minute rule if you can, please.
Yeah, the first speaker is Emily Brown.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, I'm Emily Brown. I live just down the street at 24 Farragut. I have 2 students in the district, Abel in 6th grade and Etta in 3rd. First, I'd like to acknowledge your hard work on the bond. I cannot even imagine. I'm so grateful for all that you have done on behalf of this community. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. We have some students here today to talk with you about math, and so I just wanted to offer some context from a parent perspective. My eldest child had a rocky transition into kindergarten, and we sought support and resources. Along the way, I learned that my child had exceptional aptitude in math. It wasn't really a big surprise to me, but we got some numbers around that. And one of the most important things I was told was that it would be a major role for me as a parent to advocate for him to be challenged through differentiation, enrichment, and appropriate placement. Later, I learned that the middle school had a long history of quietly placing just a few 7th graders directly into algebra, but that it was not publicized. Parents needed to know this and ask for their student to be considered. So when the time came, I reached out to his math teacher and then, at her direction, to the principal. Little did I know I was not the only person advocating for my son. Without his father or me being aware of it, he had independently talked to his math teacher, then to his guidance counselor, Ms. Dalcero, and then to his principal, Mr. Wynn. When I found out last week that this had been happening, I dug up the password, logged into his school email account, and looked at his sent email, where I found emails stretching back to March with inquiries about the decision timeline, a list of students who also wanted to be considered, and more. When the anticipated decision day came and went, he had been part of a small group of dedicated students who had gathered during their lunch period. I think they skipped lunch, I'm not sure. And they went day after day in search of Mr. Wynn. Throughout the first week of June and part of the second week of June, they would go to his office and look for him, and then up and down the halls, asking the teachers if they had seen Mr. Wynn and could help them find him, so that they could reiterate their interest in attempting to place into algebra and ask for updates on the decision-making process. So those are some of the students who are here today as a continuation of the process that they began independently. I want you to know that these students have been advocating for themselves to their administration, and they are here on their own initiative, although I'll admit that the t-shirts were my idea, to speak in their own words. We are so proud of them. We hope that you will be too, and we hope that you take their words to heart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So who's next?
Oh, I apologize. Abel Brown. Just so you know, we do time it, but if you're like a little bit over, we'll, let it, it's 3 minutes, more or less. Thank you, just in case you hear a timer. Thank you.
And we, just as a reminder, we just ask that you refrain from the mention of any individual students or personnel. Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, my name is Abel Brown, citation needed, and I've liked math for a long time. But the school math wasn't hard enough. I want to double accelerate, which would allow me to advance more fun math concepts. I waited and began to learn all the math I needed to know to do that. I found a bunch of people who wanted to do the same thing and started hounding the principal for information. He kept saying he was working on it, that it was only a month away. A month passed. I asked again. I kept asking, the deadline kept being pushed further back. Eventually, I, along with the other people with the same aims, were told that the school wasn't going to do it anymore. Instead, starting soon, there would be courses to dig deeper into the easy math we already know. I kept asking, hoping I misunderstood. I didn't. Instead of the challenging algebra course I was looking forward to, we were told that a minority of the people who double accelerated eventually struggled with high school concept. I don't understand how the solution to help us with schools to keep us asking us questions we already know the answer to. In my opinion, double acceleration should be brought back to FMS.
Thank you. Thank you.
Robert and Clara Grinberg.
Hello. If you want to grab the microphone so you can, yeah, there you go.
Okay. Hello, my name is Robert Grinberg, and next year I will be going into 7th grade. Throughout 5th and 6th grade, I have not felt like I was mathematically challenged whatsoever, and I would not like to continue this streak. In 7th grade, my sister Clara had gone to algebra, and she has been having a great time experience in math class ever since. I, on the other hand, have had a miserable time the past 2 years, and based on my sister's experience, I have really been looking forward to having the same opportunity as her in 7th grade. Even though I really like my current math teacher, Miss Smith, I have not felt like I was learning anything new during class this year. I have been taking classes outside of school since 2nd grade, looking forward to following my sister's path in mathematics. When I learned that algebra would not be offered in 7th grade, I felt like all of my hard work had been wasted. I like to participate in STEM activities and to be challenged in everything I do. Being accelerated will allow me to be in the environment where the people around me are motivated to learn, and I would also be able to learn new material. I strongly ask that you consider to bring algebra back to 7th grade.
Thank you.
Clara Grinberg.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Clara Grinberg, and next year I'm going to be a junior at Hastings High School, and I was actually able to take this acceleration program back in 7th grade. So I just kind of wanted to advocate for the success of the program, and I personally think it was very beneficial because it actually helped me be like a lot more challenged in math, which is a subject that I've always found really interesting, and it's really helped me to just be more engaged in class and do things that are more interesting. And it's also like pushed me a little bit out of my comfort zone to do things that are more challenging. So I think this is really beneficial, and I think that it would be a great opportunity, especially for the kids this year. My brother, I can personally advocate for him. I know that he has been working really hard to try and get into this program, and it has been something we've been thinking about for several years, and I know he would be very successful. And I think it would be very beneficial for these people to be able to accelerate, especially if they are advanced in math and really enjoy math, because otherwise it can seem sort of sometimes a little boring in a regular math class. So it'll give them more of an opportunity to be more challenged and enjoy math more. And I just wanted to try and ask you guys to reconsider the decision, because I think it would be really helpful, and it would really be a disservice if the kids would not be able to accelerate next year. So.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Charlotte Janowski.
Hello. Yes, you got it.
Hello, attendees of this vital meeting. I am Charlotte Janowski. I'm a 10-year-old 5th grader and for one love math. I really enjoy learning math and new concepts. I am in favor of 7th grade algebra for many reasons. One reason is because I think it will boost my intellectual abilities in something worth doing. I want to learn as much as I can, and I'm frustrated that I'm not getting what I need in classes that move too slowly. Things like not having 7th grade algebra might seem to some people as not important right now. Maybe not, but it's very important to all of us kids here tonight. I will guarantee they will have an effect later in life. When I was at Hillside, I read Malala's Magic Pencil. I learned that in some places, even today, girls are not allowed to go to school. That had a big effect on me. I'm so grateful that I live in Hastings and go to school here. I have many educational opportunities and many open doors. I can study whatever interests me. I have the privilege of coming to this meeting and advocating for education by telling you all this. In summary, board members, I want to study as much math as I can for all the girls that can't. So one day, I can help to make sure that future generations of all girls can. Thank you, and vote for the bond.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. Rosie Janowski? Sorry, Rosa.
Hello.
Hello, my name is Rosie Janowski, and I'm currently in 5th grade, and I'm 10 years old. I love math, and I am here to speak for 7th grade algebra. I have been advocating for math my entire life, and for all the people who just want to learn more. When I was in elementary school, I was unhappy that math was moving too slowly. I even cried some nights. When I heard the school was adopting a new curriculum, I wrote Ms. Kazis a letter asking the school to choose a program with more differentiation in math. Later, I participated in the first extended math class at Hillside. This allowed me to take it up a notch. Finally, there was a math class. There was an advanced math class. I could be in a class where I could expand my knowledge with other people that also shared my enthusiasm. Math is a big part of my life. Because Hillside does not have a math team, I am on a math team outside of school with other kids like me who are really excited about math. Sometimes I have done very well in math competitions and earned math awards and medals. When I started 5th grade, my mom told me that you could take a placement test to determine whether you were ready to do algebra in 7th grade. I couldn't wait. I was so excited to do math that challenges me. Then they just had to suddenly cancel it right when I was so close to doing it. I am ready to take it. In fact, I want to take algebra next year in 6th grade. I know this means I will have to be in math classes with older kids, but I don't care about the age gap. As the celebrated mathematician, Professor Paul Holmes said, the only way to learn mathematics is to do mathematics. We are asking to do math, and we strive for 7th grade algebra. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tova Janowski?
Hello.
Hi, my name is Tova Janowski, and I'm an 8-year-old 3rd grader at Hillside. What's a bird's favorite subject? Algebra. I would like to take algebra as a 7th grader one day. Tonight, you've heard a lot of people say why they love math, but I'm here to tell you why sometimes I hate it. You see, sometimes math drives me insane. I do math both inside and outside of Hillside. Out of Hillside, I go to an advanced math program and compete on a competitive math team. Do you know what I hate about advanced math outside of school? A horrid subject called simplifying. Simplifying makes something more simple. Simple, right? Wrong. It's actually a subject I used to, and still kind of do, dread. For example, 5a plus 3 minus open parentheses a minus 1 close parentheses. Simplified, this equation is 4a plus 4. You have to think about what the negative sign outside the parentheses is to everything inside the parentheses. It wasn't easy. I didn't get it on the first try. But with this challenge, my brain grew, and I learned that I can do hard things. So here I still am. I stuck with math during the hard parts. I want you to stop the restrictions on the math enrichment program. Math's important for everyone in every profession. When I grow up, I want to be a pediatric neonatal neurosurgeon. That means brain surgery on babies. Math's important for that. So please take off the restrictions and let other people thrive and struggle with math like I did. I hate math sometimes, yet here I am advocating for it. Because sometimes I don't hate math. Sometimes it challenges me to think about the world in different ways. Sometimes I feel amazing doing math. Sometimes I win math awards. Dr. McKersey, when I was a kindergartner, I was here when you cut the ribbon for the new Hillside complex. You said what we did yesterday affects today, and what we do today will affect tomorrow. So I'm asking all of you to think that what we do today in math will affect what happens tomorrow and the generations of tomorrow. Today we should offer 7th grade algebra, so tomorrow I can take it myself in 7th grade. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ira Savarthi.
Hello.
Hello, board members. My name is Ira Navarthi, and I'm in 6th grade. My family has looked into the option of double acceleration in math since my sister was in 6th grade. She was discouraged and told to wait another year. Now, as a current 9th grader, our family regrets not pushing for it, as it provides more challenges for students who are ready for it. So I'm asking, why is Hastings holding students back from their full potential? For me, it would help me get ahead and be able to include more advanced classes in my college applications. It would not harm our school systems to let some students go to a more advanced class. And you have introduced this enrichment program that you say serves as an alternative. We don't know much about it. You have given us no to little information about this program. Also, you have not given us any information about why you changed the program. We're not asking for much. Not a turf field, not a new cafeteria. We're just asking you for a better education for all of us. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Thank you.
Edmund Beer.
Hello.
Hello.
Just raise it. Yeah, you can raise it up a little bit. Yeah, there you go.
Good evening, everyone on the Hastings School Board. My name is Edmund Beer, and I'm a 6th grader here. I wanted to talk about something important in math class. A lot of us feel like the work is consistently too easy. We spend too much time on stuff we already know, and it's frankly boring. It would be great if the district could figure out a way for kids who are ready to do harder math to get more challenging work, like maybe learning algebra sooner. We want to keep loving math and learning new things, and that's why we are here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sashi Navarthi.
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Shashi Navarthi. We have 2 kids in the school district, rising 10th grader and a 6th grader you heard right now who's going to go into 7th grade. It happened once before, right? Our 10th grader now, who was so interested in math, wanted to get into algebra when she was in 7th grade, but was told no. You might not know it, you don't know it, but she was crushed. Right? It is not that these kids say, hey, it's because of parents or peer pressure or whatever. These kids have an idea of what's happening out in the world, and they are looking for skills that fit their interests, that can help them better in the life ahead. And they were crushed, and now my younger one is also equally crushed that she's not able to do advanced math. It is not that we are forcing them, it is that they love doing math. And this is a chance they would like to see, that the school district actually support. And it's coming so late in the school year where they already made plans about what they want to do, that they won't be able to accelerate into math is really, really heartbreaking. I hope the school district really reconsiders this decision, right? And in line with what you put out as a portrait of a Hastings student, right? You want to inspire exploring. You want to inspire people to think outside the box. This is the children who want it. Please don't deny them that chance. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kate Janowski.
Good evening.
My family's rolling deep tonight. So I am the mom of the three of the students you've heard from this evening. And I'd like to begin by sincerely thanking the Board of Education, district leadership, and our dedicated teachers for all the work they've done during this very successful and very full school year. You've managed a complex bond process that's going on right now. You've responded to a serious flood at the middle school with steadfastness and care. And beyond those headline events, your daily commitments to student growth, safety, and learning is deeply appreciated. And what an extraordinary night to share with all of you. Sitting in the audience, it was so awesome seeing how invested in their teachers' success the children were. They wanted to stay and watch the whole thing. So I'm speaking to you tonight to respectfully ask that the math department and district leadership reconsider the decision to eliminate the option of algebra for 7th graders. There may be students in our district right now who are multiple grade levels ahead of math and ready academically and developmentally for this course. For them, the appropriate challenge is not optional, it is essential. Many peer public school districts use a number of tools to recognize whether or not children are ready to take algebra in 7th grade, including, for example, like the Iowa Algebra Aptitude Test and the Orleans-Hannah Algebra Prognosis Test, to fairly and objectively identify such academic readiness. Scientific research is clear. Placing students in classes that are too easy for them leads to discouragement, boredom, long-term harm to motivation and achievement. Differentiation isn't just a best practice, it's a responsibility, and entirely consistent with the goals of the Hastings learner. We understand that outcomes from past years may have been mixed, but that should not be any reason to deny current students the opportunity to learn at the level that they are ready for. So let's meet students where they are. So thank you for your time, for your service, and for your continued partnership with families.
Thank you. Thank you.
Arthur Beer.
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm the father of a 6th grader and a 3rd grader, and I just want to start, our 2nd grader, soon to be 3rd grader. But I wanted to first thank you so much. Wonderful speeches here tonight to hear about all the wonderful faculty, the wonderful administration, and the board who spent all these countless hours working so hard for our children. So as a parent, I want to thank you guys, heartfelt thank you for all the work that you're doing. One of the reasons we came together as a group, we've started this STEM Booster Club, is really as parents to kind of help the schools, help our kids and the teachers as well in boosting the STEM academics and the STEM subjects in our classes, as well as maybe through internships and things. A lot of us come from STEM backgrounds. But this whole idea around really kind of this whole week has really ignited a large group or a certain group of parents, I would definitely say, about bringing this highlight on this issue, especially on 7th grade math. And we're concerned especially about our district being competitive among other districts, especially when, for example, Irving School District, I think we just heard, and several other districts actively have a 7th grade algebra program. So we're very concerned about, giving rigor to our students that are ready for it. And I think it's very important for us to advocate for that as one of our first issues for our STEM Booster Club. But thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That concludes public comment for this evening.
Okay. Thank you all for staying and commenting. Appreciate it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I apologize. I apologize. I'm actually sorry. I came. Yes, hi. I came late from work. I couldn't add my name. I'm Sophia Shamus, and I'm the wife of Arthur Beer, who just spoke, and I'm the mother of Edmund and Harry Beer, and Edmund is a 6th grader. And of course, we're here to support our children's quest for better math. We are devastated that the double acceleration program has been canceled, and it was canceled abruptly, not replaced by anything meaningful in preparation for the cancellation. We also heard that the proposed enrichment for next year is going to replace music class. If that's the case, that's unacceptable. We don't need more math. We need better math during math hours. The children spend a lot of time in math class, so better math during math hours. There are many ways to accomplish that. If the Board of Education needs parental involvement, as my husband has mentioned, we have a group of very capable and very willing parents to get involved and help you out. And Just a reminder, just like ChatGPT has replaced a lot of speech writing, artificial intelligence will replace a lot of our kids' jobs in the future, and that's a real threat. So just a reminder. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Okay, moving on. Thank you. Going to open up the report from Dr. McCarthy.
Before you all go, to all the students, thank you so much for coming and sharing your thoughts and your passion for math with us. It's really helpful for us to hear your voices.
Thank you. Thank you all. I'm so sorry, I'm eating a cookie.
It's all right.
Pass the cookies.
I'm going to have the cookies soon.
Can you pass the cookies though?
Yeah.
When you're
Just
done.
arugula cookies. Well, this is the arugula. Dr. McCarthy, is there anything you wanted to pull out from?
Yeah, I'll just highlight a few things just so, and our brilliant students, you want to stay? You can stay as long as you want. All right, they're staying. All right, so let me just, later in the meeting, the board will be voting on the internet linked devices policy, so I'll make a few comments then, I'll save that. Let me just extend a little bit the comment about the BOE student liaison training. I think we'll make sure it's in the public record around my report. I don't think it's there now, but we'll make sure it gets there because I did prepare a memo for my fellow superintendents as to the training we provide as sort of a homegrown. Kai and I sent it to you for a little critique. You'll find it later if you want to add to it because other districts are actually looking at it to see how we do things. The next thing I do want to raise is important that we mentioned here is that I did write out to all families on Friday after a personal in here meeting with the FMS and high school all staff as to the need that we're not going to have the Farragut Wing opening at the start of this next school year. Working with a number of people, I did make that decision. We sent out, I did a detailed letter to families on Friday. So far, while people are understandably disappointed, I am hearing they're appreciative of the decision being made and the clarity now. So there's planning that you can do now for one option as opposed to two options. So we'll continue to proceed on that. Next thing I want to note, which also relates to FMS, is that Dan Waldeck is leading a very active, well-designed process for the search for the interim assistant principal. Melissa Szymanski's working with Mr. Waldeck. There'll be a committee established, a representative committee, which is standard to how we do appointment processes. Later in this meeting, board, you'll learn that you're not meeting again on July 8th, but July 14th. We'll be prepared to bring a recommended interim assistant principal to you. However, we have some good candidates. And if we're at risk of losing someone by waiting till July 14th, we may call for a special meeting between, and if we get a quorum, we'll move that along. I'd shared with the board the outline of how Dan has built this process. Very good, very clean, very inclusive. And Dan has a good set of criteria of what he's looking for. But just and Alex isn't here, but be forewarned, and I think you'll agree, if we have to wait till July 14th, we may lose some a potential candidate. So we just want to keep an eye on that. I also did give you an extended statement in here about the math program, so I'm glad that you did have a good number of people coming to the mic today. And some of you may know this Friday, Melissa and I will be meeting probably with many of the parents of the students here to begin talking with them. Let me stress to you that the good news on this is that Dan Waldeck comes to you as a trained math teacher, majoring in math. In my long career, that matters to me. Math education is important, but I think when you major in math, you get that much deeper, keener sense of it. That's how Dan started. And indeed, Dan is going to be doing his dissertation research while here, looking at our math program. Yeah, and let me be direct. We have to do a lot better on math in Hastings. We have to do a lot better, and especially at the middle school. I think the core issue is, are we challenging within the core courses students enough? I've been fortunate to be in other districts that have done accelerated math, double acceleration, and they have good data around it. We don't have good data. And you find that despite the passion, despite the desire, if good fundamental work is not addressed and missed, many students fall back. Western Connecticut had very strong, solid data on that. And so we have to also communicate better on this change. We did not do it well because every single student who wants the ultimate course here would still get the ultimate course. So we want to show those pathways better. And very importantly, because it's going to be really coming out of the middle school, backed up by Melissa and others, Dan Waldeck's committed to having us honoring the faculty we have, honoring the teachers we have, but have us do that much better. I mean, you heard it from me, Superintendent, today on a glory-filled meeting that math is an area we really got to roll up our sleeves on. And part of it is helping families understand that the leap to 7th grade algebra, for many, many families and students, they get the passion and it actually does not work for what they want. And that's a moment as educator that you have to actually have some tough conversations with families, but you got to have data on it. Weston has data, Greenwich has data. The places in the Archdiocese of Boston where I was, they had data, so you could help families see what is there, but show them the pathway. So they're still getting that ultimate calculus and other options. And so we can do better here, and we'll see. But I just want to let you know, I appreciate the passion.
I just want to talk about that a little bit. Can we? Or do you want to wait till later?
We probably just said as an agenda item
Okay.
because people want to hear the conversation.
Okay.
So I think for July 14, we could set it as an agenda item. You know, then that was the main updates right now.
Okay.
So.
Okay, thank you. And we can talk about setting that.
Yeah, no, it's a very important one. So
yeah, for sure. Moving on to a report from Assistant Superintendent Curriculum. Dr. Szymanski, is anything you want to pull out of this, or?
Sure. So I just wanted it in the public record that our district has been in the process of receiving feedback from 3 different sources around cultural competence. So first, we received feedback from the IWG, the Inclusion Working Group, as part of a diversity committee meeting. So that's the first source. Second was through the results of a DEI ENL audit that was conducted by Cherry Baker Advisory, LLC, and the audit report will be coming up next. It's actually featured as an agenda item. And then finally, we'll be receiving a finalized report from the Tri-State Consortium outlining recommendations for us to consider. And as you recall, our visit was on cultural competence. So we look forward by the August Board of Education meeting to triangulate all of that. We'll do some analysis. We'll look across for some patterns and themes to be able to present more on all 3. So I just wanted that to live in the public record. And then next up, I do want to just share a little bit about an item that you'll need to vote on tonight. There will be a resolution, and this is state required, and it is specific to something called substantial equivalency. And so public school districts were given the charge to ensure that any non-public entity that resides in their catchment area, in this case Hudson Lab as a private school, is to be deemed either substantially equivalent or not. And so there needs to be a review process, and the public school districts were charged with doing that. And so that fell to us, to me, and I wanted to just take you through the process and then talk a little bit about the findings, and then you'll see a resolution later for the vote. All right, so I'd like to credit and thank Mary Elizabeth Wilson from Southern Westchester BOCES, who put these slides together. Some time ago, there was an agenda item where we voted, where you voted to engage in our recommendation that BOCES conduct this local review. And so here we go. There we go. All right, so just a quick review of substantial equivalency. Hudson Lab chose pathway 7, and I'll talk about what that means, and then talk about the evidence process and the findings. I'll move through here quickly. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'll just outline some highlights. So the goal is to ensure that students who are not going to public school are receiving a substantially equivalent education. And this was New York State compulsory education law, and that was put on the local school authorities, being us, me. All right, so this tells a little bit about it. It's here. I won't go through all of this, but the determination doesn't mean it has to have the exact same schedule, the exact same content, but basically that there is a strong instruction that's being provided in alignment with what the state would expect. So there was a timeline, there was a consultation time period, and so I was on the phone close with Hudson Lab, and we were working through which pathway. And by December, we had to attest whether or not they've made a determination. For some schools, it was fast, and for some, it was not. And for Hudson Lab, we had to go through a process because they had not yet been accredited. So this determination is due by June 30th. We will meet that deadline. These were the pathway options. So in a nutshell, they had to be registered, they had to be either a state-approved private special ed school, state-operated, state-supported, they had to be accredited, they had to be an IB program, they had to be federally approved, they had to take the state assessments to show that the students were performing on the state standards at a level that would be considered substantially equivalent. And because none of these were relevant and applicable, we went to LSA, local review. And so that included a site visit, observation of teaching and learning in lots of different content areas, going through lots of site-based documentation, looking at their whole program. And there was a review where they had to be physically present, and again, that document review. So you can see here the organizational and content requirements that were looked at to ensure substantial equivalence, including teacher competence, English as the language of instruction, their program, looking at content in every single grade level, additional required instruction, as you can see by the bullets, highway safety, traffic regulation, fire drills, fire prevention, injury prevention, life safety, use of AED, and CPR practices. So all of the required documentation will be submitted to State Ed for their review. We did have on the part of our BOCES partner a positive finding, and so that was on the basis of a number of different things. Again, this is just a little bit more about gathering evidence, documents, practices, policies. It's here for you if you want that additional information. And taking a look at what the findings were, they found equivalence in all of these areas: teacher competence, English as a language of instruction, instructional programs enabling students to progress towards English proficiency, instruction in core content areas at every single grade level, and the additional required instruction, and the other areas that I outlined. So they did look at all of that. So it was Dr. Mary Elizabeth Wilson who conducted the review, found them to be substantially equivalent, and then there is a resolution for the board to vote on tonight. Once the board votes, I will upload documentation to the state and fulfill the Hastings School District reporting requirements.
Thank you, Dr. So, quick question: is that an annual thing that you have to undertake, or is it annual, or is it?
It's my understanding is it is once.
Oh.
And the other thing that I will add is Hudson Lab did engage in an accreditation process. They're midway. The state did not accept that as acceptable, so we had to continue with the LSA. They actually should be accredited soon. So even if the state asks for another review, they will have an expedited pathway.
Oh, gotcha.
Is the anticipation.
I mean, many of you have been around since this idea surfaced. There is some backing down on from the state. I'm going to be blunt here. This is New York State doing terrible, terrible public policy. Everything that we just spent a minute on here, multiply that. Our one academic leader had to spend time. This is not Hudson Lab's problem. Hudson Lab, great place, great place, great place. Please hear that, public meeting. But the state requiring us to take our limited intellectual leadership and devote it to what's going on in an independent school. And there are lots of political reasons, which a number of you understand deeply, why the state has done this. And then said, local school board and local administration, you have to do this. In the local school board, you have to vote on the substantial equivalency. There are some communities where it's an incredibly politicized vote, whether or not you're going to provide that equivalency to the school. And an auditorium like this would be packed with people waiting for that board to vote that down and then go after those board members. So this is incredibly poorly designed policy. The Westchester County superintendents, Lou Wall, the Harrison superintendent, is beside himself with this, and he's upset with us that we didn't fight it earlier. I understand, and some of you may know, they are backing down a little bit going forward on the demands around this. Because thank goodness you did agree to have us have BOCES spend time on this, because you can just see here, Melissa still had to spend a lot of time on this, but every little bit of that would have been immense. And let me go right to an audience of people concerned about our math program. And we're spending time, sorry, you're getting my passion. We're spending time on a wonderful other school as opposed to our school. So we will move forward. I think it does have to come back more than not again, but we'll understand it.
Okay.
Sorry, I just
thank you
I had to let loose.
No, the thorough explanation. It's very important to understand that. And thank you for conducting that.
Alex, just a quick question, and I'm sorry I missed the intro, but is it in the works? Is that the review? So BOCES as kind of the third party, we said, take a look at this and evaluate it, and have they decided, or it's still in the works?
Yes, they have decided that their program is substantially equivalent to what the state would expect of a public school district. So there's a resolution on the board agenda tonight for you to vote on to accept the resolution, and then I can attest to the state.
Got you. Yeah, I want to piggyback off of what Bill said. I think it's very poorly rolled out by the state, and it puts not only an onus on administrators and staff to but it puts it on us as board members to validate oversight of something that we have nothing to do with. So I think it's really inappropriate.
Yeah, and for a place such as Hastings, it's a manageable issue. But for example, in East Ramapo and some other districts, given a great, larger, many schools, great diversity of schools rooted in certain value systems, certain religious traditions, that's all now front and center. And it's a real problem. Yeah. And that's why, again, I'm a little sloppy on what I was hearing. They were pulling back a bit on it, but we'll get to the other side. And thanks to Melissa Szymanski, and thanks to you voting to let us work with BOCES on this, that made a big difference.
Good to hear that.
And again, anyone listening, Hudson Lab, none of my passion is upset with you. Please.
Thank you. Moving on to report from our business official, Maureen Carvalho. Anything you want to pull out of here from the fund? Are we presenting on the fund
Yeah, I'm going
balance?
to present,
Okay.
and then I have a couple other items that after I'm done with the presentation, I'll go over. And also just saying, we did have to pay for the review too, so that's. No one's listening to me, but that's okay. Can I start?
Yeah.
Okay. So tonight is the last meeting before the end of our fiscal year. So this evening, we're going to go over our fund balance and reserves for the end of the fiscal year. There will be more allocations after our audit is conducted, which will be starting this week and it'll be concluded in July. So this is a requirement each year for the district to review both the allocations to fund balance and reserves, as well as just if there's any questions in regards to the various categories and what the restrictions are to fund each of them. So again, this slide just explains the purpose of this evening. Each of these is a definition of the various types of categories under fund balance as well as reserve funds. And as you can see, we do use these and we try to explain it as part of our audit, and each of them has different legal restrictions amongst them. This year in particular, and once I get to that place, I think we find ourselves in a very different place as we recently, the board authorized liquidating some of the reserves in anticipation of the monies that may be needed for the restoration project in the middle school in regards to just the way there were different aspects of that work that we're trying to determine with insurance will be covered. So I say that to say that this is an extremely important piece, and the impact of that and what that means as we go forward in the future. has major impacts. And although there's sometimes some concern about how much districts have in reserves, and at times there's even been criticism from the state, when there's times in which they're, even during COVID and other times like that, without having these funds, you find yourself in a situation where you would be making major budget cuts. So again, these definitions are here for your reference as you may go back and review this later. And each of the reserves that are listed in the slide deck, we do have funds in each of them. And again, they're established from each purpose. One of the things, just to remind you, a lot of the reserves themselves are restricted in nature, meaning they're there for an actual liability the district may have. Some of it is we have legal obligations that are settlements that we have entered into. Some of them are employee benefits that you're required. If, as an example, if people have vacation days that are accrued and all the rest, as part of their contracts, you are required to keep that money as part of your fund balance. That's not money that's available for use if there's an emergency. That is a necessary liability we need to fund. So again, how do districts have fund balance? It's quite simple. It's that your expenditures are lower than your budget and your revenues exceed your budgeted revenues. That is the primary source of fund balance. The other two ways that a district can have some fund balance are either sale of real building or land. Of course, that's not a situation for us, and unexpected capital projects. So unexpended capital projects. So as an example, we have a current bond. If the bond goes through this evening and you borrow $38 million, and at the conclusion of that work, if there's funds available there that were not spent, that money has to go back to a debt service reserve. It's required by law. There's nothing else you can do with that money other than to return it back to the taxpayers. So again, the Office of the State Controller, they allow up to 4% of the following year's budget as unassigned funds. That's really the only amount of money within the entire fund balance and reserves that is free and clear. That $2 million is the only one that doesn't have the restrictions. Every other reserve or appropriation does have a restriction in the use of it. So really, even if we had $20 million in reserves, really that's the only piece that's really free and clear and doesn't have a lot of restrictions in terms of, even for the board cannot, there's many of the reserves that once it's established, the board doesn't have the power to liquidate out those. So they are really restricted by law and protected. I just want to mention here that, school districts are unique, that we're only allowed to keep 4% in our unassigned funds. Municipalities are allowed to keep much larger. They're allowed to have 15%, 20% of their operating budget. Why is that important? Because it makes it a lot easier to manage different things. And school districts are in a unique position where out of all the government agencies, we're only allowed to keep 4%. So, that's an important piece. One of the reasons both the unassigned fund balance as well as the reserves are extremely important to us is that without it, and the first probably 10 years or maybe less that I worked here, the district really didn't have many reserve funds. They were, the budgets were quite high, quite frankly, the taxes were quite high, but they really didn't put away money for obligations that the district owed. When we had tax certiorari's, which really you should have a reserve for, they were just borrowing from them, which is really a bad practice because you already know you have an obligation, and not only are you saving the money for it, you're borrowing for money that you really do know you owe. I say all that to say because at that time, we don't receive our first revenue. Our fiscal year starts July 1. We don't receive our first revenue to the 5th business day in October, major revenue, which is our taxes. We have operational expenses from July through October payrolls. As an example, between July and October, our cash flow needs are about $7 to $8 million this year. And we have some state aid that comes in, but we have about $2 million of our next year revenue that comes in when we have about 8 to potentially even higher amount of expenses that come in. If we didn't have the reserves, we would have to borrow money. and pay interest on that. It's called a TAN, a tax anticipation note. Many times you'll also hear of districts or municipalities or even the federal government, they have like revenue anticipation notes or they bond to fund things. It's an important, if we don't have that money, we would have to borrow for it, which would then have to become part of our operational expenses. So, not only it allows us to kind of operate without the taxes and, but also it helps us save us money. So again, it's very important. And as an example, with the borrowing of the bond this year, I was really, really not happy that we may have to dip into our reserve funds because the amount of reserve funds you have, Moody's does rate you not like a school district, but like a business. And they would like to see us even have more reserve funds. I mean, right now we do have a good credit rating and hopefully that will not change, but especially when people are going out for bonds in particular, having a good amount in your reserves is like critical because again, if, it impacts what you borrow at and 0.5% on $30 million is a lot of money, so I say that it's extremely important. Oopsie-daisy. Why is this? Okay. Again, this explains the rationale or some rationale for it. I don't have to walk through this, but this is just an example of growth on the TRS. And TRS is this is the retirement system payment we make for the teachers' retirement systems, and it is one of the allowable reserves we have. It was actually the first year we were allowed to reserve for TRS was, I believe, 3 years ago. But just as you can see, even when there's a relatively slight change in the percentage we pay to the retirement system, you can see the impact. Like as an example, next year, especially with the volatility of the stock markets this year, I think there's a lot of concern about what this is going to look like. And I just wanted to put a note here that even not less than 10 years ago, the percentage we paid to the TRS was 17.53%. I mean, it's almost double of what we paid this year. And if you look at the dollars we paid this year, 2.8 million, imagine that number being double. And there are years in which it has jumped tripled, from 10% to 14%. And in particular, there's been a great amount of concern. As we know, the stock market this past year has been very volatile. This rate looks at the last 5 years of the stock market trends, and that is how that amount is derived. And historically, even in the 80s, at times that was 25% of payrolls. Now, just that impact, and even that, I'm being very conservative here and saying even if it goes to 12% next year, out of our tax dollars, we would need $700,000 more money out of a potential $1.2 million on a tax cap just to fund that one line. Mm-hmm. So we have the reserve, I typically try to use that to offset, to help us manage those increases. But again, just in speaking to colleagues, I think there's a lot of concern about what that rate is going to look like in the next year or two and the impact to us. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. Sorry, this thing is. I'm hitting the wrong thing. It's the nails. Okay. Okay, again, long-range planning capital reserve. I mean, this is one that most districts, as you know, capital projects, we've been talking a lot about them this year. We know we have, beyond the bond and whatever the outcome is there, we have significant constant capital needs that need to be addressed. Currently, our capital reserve fund has about $2.2 million in it, almost all of which is earmarked for a boiler that we need to replace at Hillside School, not this year, but the following year. We didn't need to include it in the bond because of the age, and next year, most likely, we'll be looking to do a vote on that alongside our budget. But this is an area in which we would love to have more money. Currently, our authorization is $10 million, but we don't have, of course, enough money to fund it. But this is a really important reserve, and many districts like ours look to fund it just to help you stay ahead of bonds and in between bonds. I think Irvington this year, I believe, used about $5 million worth of capital reserve just to do some intermediate work before going for another bond. So I just listed a couple areas, and again, this would be something, if sometimes when people have turf fields, they do put money set aside here, they try to get a certain amount in each year so that in those 12-year cycles, if you did have to change a carpet, that's typically where we see districts trying to plan for those type of replacements. Okay, so this is just a quick snapshot. We've gone over this a good amount during our budget process as required, just to help the board make informed decisions about the budget and, you know, understanding what the impact is in long-term financial planning. 6/30 last year, total fund balance, you can see the breakdown there. We ended the fiscal year with $13.4 million. That was, again, we've been pretty consistent with that for the last few years, meaning so it's actually as a percentage of our total budget's gone down. It's okay, it's not low. A lot of districts have a lot more than that. But again, it's not it's an okay place to be. Right now, we're anticipating, we'll see where the year finally shakes out. And some of this is based upon the need that right now I'm anticipating using about 1.3 million of that tax cert authorization. Although we are going to be using probably the entirety of the insurance reserve of 750, there's an authorization tonight to put monies back into that reserve. So this is assuming that we're using the 750 and then refunding 600 out of the revenues over expenses for this year. So as you can see here, we're anticipating that our year-over-year fund balance will go down about 1.4 million. And you can see kind of the breakout of that. The one thing I do want to just mention here is if you look at the line total assigned fund balance, that's the money that we use to balance our budget, meaning next year's budget. So at this fiscal year, as part of the 25-26 school year revenue package, we appropriated $1.8 million to balance next year's budget. So what does that mean? As of 6/30 this year, it's part of the fund balance, but if we need that entire amount next year and it doesn't get refunded, you know, that money's kind of gone July 1. So if you take that $11 million, you almost have to take out that $2 million immediately because we're using $2 million next year of that cash. And again, I'm just assuming that next year we'll be able to generate some fund balance. If not, these numbers could be, you know, lower. So again, right now we do need, because of the unexpected events in the Farragut Middle School, I think, you know, we're anticipating seeing that our fund balance drop significantly over the next couple of years. The reason that's a concern, and I'll just again point to the total assigned fund balance line, we used $1.9 million to balance our budget this year. If there's not, that money's not available next year, right now I'm anticipating a $900,000 drop in that line item. That means that $900,000 drop in revenues for total assigned fund balance has to be made up in tax dollars. So like you would arguably, again, between that and the TRS, you would not have, we would already be starting in it over the tax cap in that scenario. So as we know, right, it's a combination. We used more fund balance this year to balance our budget. We used about almost close to, well, about $400,000 more, which again, that part of that was the restoration of the positions within the high school, and we plugged it with cash that we had on hand. We didn't make any other reductions to balance those. So we know next year, in order to not find ourselves in that place, we're going to either have to do an override, unless for some reason we receive, you know, millions of dollars or more money that I don't anticipate. So we don't have the ability to continue to fund the budget out of our reserves as we did this year. So this is really just be very careful. Okay. And again, this is just budget surplus, and this kind of shows you, although most of it, the federal aid reimbursement for COVID was just a small, tiny amount this year, we have been experiencing, where we're really getting our surpluses from, or from our revenue side of our budget in particular this year. There was our interest revenue has been off the charts, and we typically take a very conservative approach in how we budget that. I will say that I increased that number significantly going into the 25-26 school year, so that means that there'll be less fund balance generated because I budgeted those numbers closer to what we actually received this year. Just as an example, 4 years ago we received $30,000 worth of interest income because the interest rates were nothing. This year we're at about $850,000. So, you know, this is, although I budgeted like $400,000, we're generating most of our fund balance from our revenue side of the budget for the end of this fiscal year. Sales tax revenue also continues to be very strong in Westchester County. Although it did dip this last quarter, it was significantly, came in about 200,000 to 300,000 over budget. And then the remainder is mostly from state aid. And some of it is, some of our projections are expense-driven aids. We did end up receiving a little more. As we talk and at budget time, most districts, not only ours, are very conservative in budgeting revenues typically because they're more, like the state can give us a certain number and then it could come in less. But this year, that insurance recoveries and some other items were the main driver. I think we were about $1.5 million over in revenue as a total with all the categories. And another piece of that is we ended up taking in a lot more tuition-paying students, both in parentally placed, but majority that's driving the revenue here is other districts placing students here. So I think that accounted for about $400,000, those two categories. So again, but something that, like next year, some of those districts aren't sending students here again. So that those are not revenues you can really depend upon. They help us fund our reserves, but they're not necessarily something that we can rely on for operational budgets each year. And then on expenditures, again, special education, we had some savings there on some of the tuitions and some of our contractual monies. And then again, some on salaries, just with some shifting staff and some of the newer hires that came in slightly below budget. So that's really on the expenditure side of the house where we generated some savings. And then finally, these just reflect the resolutions you'll be voting on this evening. And you can kind of see the breakdown of the different recommendations. And each of them, if you we only established it last year, and thank God we did, because that would have been a real problem for us. And at this point, if anything were to happen, any type of lawsuit or for a variety of reasons, it's so important to have that money funded in there. And then the second one, I just want to say, we currently have like $2.2 million in our, so this is really only a $100,000 swing. It's not like we're funding something at $2 million. This just signifies what the final amount will be, and that's only about a $100,000 increase. So as I mentioned, we're probably about revenues over expenses, somewhere in the $2 million range. And this reflects the distribution of those excess funds, which is less than last year for comparison purposes. So this evening, if you have any questions, you'll be voting on those under business. And then the other one item I just want to mention as part of my report is somewhat of a new development. Many of you may have heard when Governor Hochul announced her New York State budget this year, one of the main items that was part of her budget package was to provide free school meals universally. So currently most schools, or only during COVID did this happen, that they were providing, no matter your income level, free breakfast and lunch to schools. So part of what the state put into their state budget is that they would provide, if you participate in the federal plan, which we do not. So when this came through, I was like, well, maybe we should join, because now parents who are now paying for all their meals, like they would have the opportunity to have them free. But it's a very different program. We've been in it before. It's really not ideal. So what the decision was, and again, we have very little time to implement, because a lot of school districts are already in the program. There's a lot of things that have to occur. There's paperwork. And usually if you were making this decision, you would probably have about 10 months to 11 months to make this switch. So being this came as part of the late state budget, right? The budget was late. I talked to the cafeteria company. I'm like, I just don't feel that we cannot offer this, at least to our elementary school parents. So what the recommendation you're going to be voting on tonight is I'm going to go out to bid and rebid out the Hillside part of our program, because the Hillside program is the most closely aligned to the federal program, meaning the components of the meal, the menus follow, for the most part, the federal menu, meaning the restrictions and all the rest. But I felt as though not joining the program is not allowing parents to get free meals, basically, for breakfast and lunch now, for at least the next 2 years at Hillside. I think down here, we wouldn't be able to make that large of a wholesale change to our program in 2 months' time and have it, have a new food service company up and all the rest. So what we are recommending is tonight we're going to rebid our contract in the next week and be able to offer those meals to our families at Hillside next year free of charge for everyone. So that's one of the things. And then what we're hoping to do, because right now the Governor Hochul, it's for 2 years. So we're going to evaluate how it's going in the first, through about December at Hillside, and we'll make a recommendation whether we do the same for the middle school and high school, but we also know it may, end after 2 years. So, but there is a lot of money, right? Because parents spend a tremendous amount of money on lunch. And, right now, if you have 2 children at Hillside, breakfast and lunch combined per day is at least $15 or so. So it's like saving that type of money for just 2 children. So, right now, again, for next year, we'll do Hillside, but we're not going to make the change. For middle school, high school, it'll still be full pay.
Okay, excellent. Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments?
Just, I guess, a question, if you know, Maureen, on what was the driver behind it? Was it nutrition or why?
Votes? No, I don't know.
Why kind of give, I don't want to say give away meals, but what was the driver to make that program happen across the board?
I honestly think a lot of my colleagues, most of us don't really understand it. And I do think it's politically motivated. I mean, that's my own understanding of it.
Yeah, I mean, other states during COVID were doing that. I can't speak to New York State. I mean, Connecticut had gone full on in that and then began to pull back. There is legitimate wellness needs, and I think it was a sense and probably just some horse trading, that if you're going to get this for certain parts of New York State, why not all? And Maureen and I did talk about this today, because you may be aware that past programs like this substantially affected the offerings. So a number of districts of the ilk of Hastings did not involve themselves because, yes, you got free, but you gave up a lot of choice for your families. But what we understand is that this would be pretty much the Hillside program as is. Wow. For the high school, and middle school would amount to significant change. So I think it is a smart move. The state's done this. They may not do it after the next 2 years, but they've done it. So I think it is a good win for our Hillside families, many of whom are also then our FMS high school families. But again, we're not recommending it for FMS or the high school, because there would be, as I understand it from Maureen, pretty substantial change to what we offer. And so, but I think it was a political move to get a budget through, and certain votes came because then you'd go statewide with it, if that helps.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think the concern, I mean, most of my colleagues, we would rather see it in state aid. I mean, I think this is similar to when they implemented the STAR. The first year there was STAR, we received like $2 million less state aid. They basically they're taking money that was in the state budget for education and allocating it to this program. And not all of us agree, but we had previously been in the free and reduced program many years ago, and actually, the vendors that we actually, out of all the river towns, have the lowest free and reduced population. We only have like 4%, where Irvington actually has like 14% or 12%, because just meaning eligibility. So for us, we had attempted to do it. The program wasn't great, and we had even just those who were not, even the students who were eligible in the middle school and high school, they didn't participate. I mean, we do provide free and reduced lunch for the 4% of our students that qualify, but we feel as though we are able to offer them, more greater variety. And to be honest with you, it is not only does it help families, it does generate a lot of money to the school district when you participate, because you get a lot of federal subsidies with it as well. So. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, I will say at Hillside, we're very comfortable. I'm very comfortable with doing it there, but it would decimate the middle school and high school program. And the schools that do have it, although it's beneficial financially for districts, and if they have a high population, they need to participate. We can pay for our 4% out of our proceeds that we make in our school lunch. If we had 12%, we probably would have to be in it also, because then you don't have enough other revenue to cover because we have to, we're covering the expenses within the proceeds we make from other students, quite frankly. But, a lot of, we don't have to charge a lot in order to do it, because we have such a great program here, and we actually do very, very well. So I think, yes. So anyway, we'll stay in here and go to Hillside.
This was one of our state updates today at Curriculum Council, and I just double-checked the guidance, and it put me at there's a link to the New York State Education Department Child Nutrition Knowledge Center, and essentially, in a nutshell, the Universal Free School Meals Program requires state school food authorities, which they call SFAs, to maximize federal reimbursement. And that's really what it is.
Well, no, but it's the states kicking in.
That's right.
You always got it from the federal government, but the federal government picks up for the kids who are actually free and reduced, and then the state matches the remainder. Like, that's really, you have to be in both, is what all that is really saying. The federal always existed. It's just saying you can't get the state unless you enter the federal, because then you're tied to all of their, restrictions.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Thank you. Thank you, Maureen. Both Maureen's. Any other questions? No? Students, you still with us? You hanging in there? You guys have studying to do, don't you? No? Yeah. I'm done. Oh, that's right.
But I think Ella might have a final coming up.
Feel free, but thank you. So moving on to business items, and some of them that Maureen just enumerated are here in the listing. So are there any other questions or comments regarding business items 1 through 15?
I just wanted to acknowledge our appreciation for the donation towards supporting our robotics club by Mr. Hills, and it's been such a well-received activity in the high school level, and so to the extent that we receive generous donations from partner organizations outside the school district, we're very appreciative, so thank you.
Yeah, good one to call out.
Good point.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve business items 1 through 15?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We're voting on the audit report that Dr. Szymanski brought up. We're just voting to receive it as a completed task. We're not voting on the merits of it or anything like that. So any questions or comments before we vote on it?
No, I'm happy to receive it, and I was just starting to read it. It was very interesting, and I know we have these other reports coming. Will we have a separate board meeting to discuss all the findings together at a later date? Will that be a future agenda item?
Yeah, I mean, what we're thinking of, and so there are two parts to this. You've got the formal internal audit document, and then there's the management responses. And we took some care in building the management responses document, so it could be a one-stop for you, so you didn't have to keep going back and forth between the two. There are 9 findings and recommendations from the internal audit. I'm going to answer your question here. I'm building towards it. There are 9 findings and recommendations, and we're required to give a management response and required to do an action plan. The management response across all 9 is we will review for potential action, and then the action plan says what we'll do, plus there's a deliverable date in there and an assigned administrator. What we want to do is, in many places it said, we want to look at this relative to the tri-state recommendations and IWG, and if you will, from our partners within have brought forward a set of recommendations. And Catherine, you've been sitting in a diversity meeting, you've heard me say this, so we do want to bring those 3 all together. And again, the management responses was written now to acknowledge the legal requirement of the internal audit, but also to say we want to tie these things together. I don't think we get this sorted out by July 14th, which would be your next meeting, but I think there we could talk a little bit more about exactly what you're asking. But I think it's important we look at these 3 together.
Absolutely, in concert. I think it's such great data. It's so rich.
And there's, Melissa Szymanski and I have an inkling of what's in the tri-state. There is some overlap in a few areas. For example, more efficiency in the number of committees, maybe, but they're all set things we'll want to definitely talk about. So I can work with the board leadership on when we do that. But I think I'll commit that on the 14th we'll give you a better idea of the next step. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question.
Please.
I just want to piggyback on that, on the importance of us dedicating time to that audit at a board meeting sooner than later, right? Because we want to really address these things, right?
Yeah, I mean, we may be able to do it at the 14th. It looks like the end of this week, we will get back with Tri-State in terms of updates and corrections. I had wanted to have staff who are working on the Tri-State have a first, it's just a fundamental in how I operate. I want them to have a shot at it. The dilemma is, because as good a Tri-State as a partner, I'm in a public meeting, so they're hearing me, there was a little delay.
Yeah.
And so we may have to finesse that a little bit, maybe reach out to those involved internally and say, it's really important the board at least go through a discussion about it, because we might be able to do a preliminary discussion of the July 14th meeting. We can see, because we have the IWG in hand. We now have this in hand with the management responses. The last piece to fit into that is the Tri-State. But if the board says, hey, we really want to grapple, you don't have much time in the summer. So it may be we just have to say preliminary, a little out of order, but you as a board get to grapple with
Yeah, absolutely, just having the time to read and reflect on it, and then have some good conversations.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, and my sense of you as a board is that you will engage in a discussion and a what if, and I could see you saying, okay, fine, what if, but find out from faculty and others what this means, as opposed to here's what it is, right?
Yes.
Yeah, if that's the spirit, I feel good
Yeah.
if we have it bring in for discussion at that meeting.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you all.
But this report, if you're going to accept the findings, because this does go to the state controller's office,
So we
and they
have to-
do
we have to
review
vote.
it. So I'm just
Oh,
saying.
right, no, so I'm
Yeah.
saying this you have to
This
accept
one's
it.
going to be a finalized
No, you gotta
report with
accept
the
this
findings,
tonight,
yeah,
but
and the
and-
dates specific to like
Yeah. Okay,
implementation.
Gotcha. Okay, with that in mind, is there a motion to approve the audit report?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Any questions or comments regarding our placement services for CSE and CPSE? Is there a motion to approve our placement and services for CSE and CPSE?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Voting on our personnel, this is a consent agenda. Are there any questions or comments regarding our appointments, amendments, resignations, or leaves of absence? Is there a motion to approve our personnel consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to minutes, these have been from June 2nd. Are there any questions or comments regarding our minutes from the June 2nd meeting? Is there a motion to approve our minutes from the June 2nd meeting? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Policies, second read. These would be the two policies that we saw last time around internet-linked devices. Just to note, what we noted last time is that these are just the policy framework. The implementation details and the other sort of aspects are to come in the near future. So we are voting on this as second review, so that we are voting them in. Are there any questions or comments regarding policies 25.6.2 or policy 5695?
I guess I just had a comment about, we're going to vote them in and then implementation is where we get into the deeper options of storage and that kind of stuff.
That's correct.
Right? So as of the deadline, we are doing the trial, or we still have time to figure.
We still have time. The details remain up in the air. I mean,
So for the storage, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the legal deadline of the policy is August 1. So I think if the policy makes sense and all the outreach I've done with the bargaining units, with the parent leadership, conversations over time with students, given the governor sort of said, this is it, there's understanding. The key is then the regs. We, for storage, have two options. We're working on the yonder possibility, but we have to raise about $32,000 for that. We cannot, especially given what you just heard in the reserve fund issue, we cannot afford even $32,000 on that. And so the leadership of the high school and the middle school understand that. We want to be consistent grade 5 through 12 on the storage system. There's just too much interaction back and forth to have two different regs, if you will. So first is that. If we can't do that, we would pivot to book bags and lockers and have systems for that. So actually next week, I'm starting outreach with parent leadership on what would be specifics on both of those paths. So let's sort of plan for both. We've got a drop dead date of kind of the second week of July, if we can have the money raised, which we may not. But once we've working with Yonder, we have a whole proposal. They help with implementation, so we could move down that. So we will start. So on the 14th, can probably give you more of an update of where we are on this with the regs and all, if that's helpful.
And I just wanted to kind of, I know we have the code of conduct, but is this addressed? I didn't see it specifically called out in the code of conduct because I think it came after, but maybe we can.
The policy does tie over to the code of conduct for some general behavioral issues. I mean, we could later modify if need be, but I think the administrators looking at the code of conduct had an eye that this was coming and feel that this does pick it up.
Okay, yeah, because there were some specifics, like I think we were very specific about phone, like not doing pictures or videos, but some way to incorporate this in like the solution will be
that's a
no
good
phone
one. This would
use.
supersede that in that they're not allowed in use at all during the day. So
Okay.
that would supersede that. So, okay.
Yeah, it's a good question. Oh, sorry.
So just to confirm, we just are voting on the one policy, wait, sorry, just. I lost my spot, but the internet, it's just that singular policy, and then the other document you gave us is more about the implementation, right?
Right, that's a
Yeah,
reference.
got it. Perfect, thank you.
Oh, true, I quoted it as a policy number, but it's not. That's true. It's just one policy. Yeah, 5695. Yeah.
Great.
So motion to approve policy 5695.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
All right. Moving on to old business, this is the resolution to adopt the 25-26 District Code of Conduct. Are there any questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve the 2025-26 District Code of Conduct?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye? Second public comment? No? No. Gender review, so as Dr. McCursey mentioned, we're on the 14th. Some of the things we normally do at this time of year got pushed down there, so sort of state of the district and next steps, presentations, and then also what the items Dr. McCursey mentioned. But
Yeah,
we
so
can work on that.
Melissa's not here, so we'll make the notes, but let's commit to a discussion about these three reports on, we can find a way to do that. So we'll do that. And then there may be another item or two. I mean, just to be clear, that's your formal organizing meeting. So there's a whole line of votes you do in terms of who your board leadership will be, and then a whole set of appointments with the administration for technical requirements, i.e., the DASA coordinators, et cetera, et cetera. There are about 20 different votes there. That's in your organizational meeting. You will then vote on your dates for the year's meetings. You then will go into a separate meeting, but a formal regular meeting. And there we can deal with the state of the district, the next steps, and I'll just put it simple, the diversity and inclusion E&L work.
Yeah, yeah. TBD.
And depending on tonight, we should update you on where we are with next steps on the capital bond work.
Oh, right.
I think that'd be
That's
an
true as well.
automatic.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank
I open up for Board of Ed comments.
So for me, this is an opportunity, I guess, to be both reflective and perspective. But I really want to start my comments out by talking about you, Alex.
Yes.
Having served as a board vice president twice, once during the main thrust of COVID, and again this year, it's been, again, an interesting experience. But you realize that the qualities that your board president needs to possess in spades are integrity, unflappability, a willingness to listen, and an even temperament. And you, my friend, from the beginning of this year, have been called upon to basically epitomize those qualities. Because from the beginning of the year to our winter break, to the development of our board process, of our bond process this year, there hasn't been a dull moment. And I think that your ability to hold us together, because functionally speaking, we are a unit. We have differences of opinion, and we don't always agree, but it's our job to come to consensus in the best interest of this district. And to be able to do that, given all the calamity and the transition and the instability that has been meted out to us this year, is a true testament to what you possess, like as a leader, but also as a person. And I feel so humbled that I was able to work with you this year. And I just want to say thank you to you. I think that oftentimes as board members, that's not necessarily what we hear. We oftentimes hear a lot when people are unhappy with us, whatever that cross-section of dissatisfaction is, it comes to our attention quite rapidly. But I think that you, more than anyone else, has really rallied us as a team. And again, the 7 of us, yes, but also like from your pulpit and what you occupy for this district. So know that you're very appreciated, you're very respected, and I know that I don't speak just for myself, and I know that there's other folks around this table who want to share their own variation of that with you. Today is a very momentous day for this district. Whatever happens, you gave it your all.
Thank you.
And you were always just spot on.
Yeah.
Everything that you did, just your ability to just put all the cards on the table in the most persuasive and honest way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
That's
Alex.
very kind. Thank you.
Sure, I'll just. Alex, hello. Alex, you really embody perseverance. I don't know how you've done it sometimes because I might have flown off the handle. But you are so even. And I mean, and you just kept delivering and delivering and delivering in letters and emails and forums and not really letting it, penetrate you. At least it doesn't seem like it. So you should teach us all about that. So I thank you. There are some mornings I just thought, oh, thank God he's doing all this because, yeah, and I know you have a family and you have a job and a wife. She must be so ready for you this to be done.
Yeah, kind of.
But
Kind of.
right? Thank you so much for all of your hard work and your ability to deliver an interesting historical study on Hastings buildings and real estate.
There's more in the appendix.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have a future as the village historian.
Yeah. Natalie Berry let me have it, yeah. That's right.
And we have come together as a board and have something for you
Oh my God.
in your email inbox for you and your family.
Oh my God,
Yes.
thank you. Oh my God, it's such a surprise. I had no idea.
We so appreciate
Thank
all
you.
of your time and hard work and
Thank you all.
yes.
I gotta just say, to your point, the most motivating thing, I think there's so few things you do as in public life where you think you're going to make a durable change. In the process this year, the fact that we have this opportunity ahead of us, that we might make a positive, durable step forward with these buildings, these schools, is just such a motivator. And I thank all of you because this has been, as I've said to my wife a number of times, been the absolute right board for the moment. And it's all of us together, and it could not have happened any other way. And so I'm really proud to be part of it. So thank you all. Thank you very much.
I just want to also echo what's been said. And I'm so impressed with all the roles that you took on. Like you reinvented, like you became a historian, an architect, a statistician. You were expert on all the funding. a professional presenter. You reinvented, the presentations, how many different times, and listened and incorporated and adjusted. And I think you really helped people to understand and to feel heard. And I think no matter what the outcome in a few minutes, like really, hats off to you, Alex. You were an amazing leader for this. You really met the moment, I think, and led us, I hope, to success. But we shall see. But thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And you also unified a lot of key parts of our community, right? The teachers union, the PTSA, SEPTA, so many different groups have joined together in pursuit of really supporting and holding the schools to be their best. And I think that's a real testament to your open and warm demeanor and your willingness to listen and support and change. And I think one of the things that makes me smile is one of your final presentations. I think it was over 80 slides, but it was over 80 slides because we had like 38 board meetings and 5 public meetings and lots of emails, and you really tried to listen and incorporate and speak to us and hear people and change and answer questions. And it's a beautiful thing. And that is democracy. That's public engagement. And so I think it's something you led us to, you exemplified, and you should be proud.
Thank you. That's extremely kind. And I saw the slides. I was like, oh my God, I threw like 5 out. That's why I didn't put numbers on them.
I think just additionally what everyone else is saying, I echo all that, but at the final information session we had, people that were on the opposition were thanking you for your thoroughness. And that's a testament to how you brought yourself to those meetings and how you allowed them even space to speak, and you respected them, you didn't treat them with confrontation, and that's just the person you are, and that really helped the process move to where it is now. And like we said, we'll find out in a few minutes, but we really are truly appreciative of the amount of work that you put in.
Thank you. I would do it all over again, and I hope we have the result.
Why don't you wait for 20 minutes and see what you say?
Oh, I shouldn't have said that. It's true.
So there is an aspect to this that none of you see, and I might define Alex as the Zen in the art of school board leadership, because more than you know, every day or 4 or 5 times he gets a call from me.
Oh my God.
Oh, what's happening? He's so calm. I said, Marie's just come in to me with all this news. Melissa's come in with all the news. The faculty's come in with all this news. And he's like, it's all right. We'll work through this. No problem. We got this. So more than you know, sir. Just this well done. And substantively. It's not just sort of some random thought. So I think it's Robert Pirzig,
I read it, yeah.
Yeah. Now it's you and the village and the school board and all the rest. But it's my point. It's seeping down in through the district and the organization. So thank you.
Thank you.
I think
Thank
that's
you
really
all.
true. I just want to say to you that I think as a leader, what Bill said, you really have seeped into and through the district in an incredible way. And I felt like that when, I don't know when it was, maybe when we came, just the other day when we got those letters from the HTA in the mail. And Steve said to me, did you see this letter? And I said, no, and I felt like that felt like so confirming, and it just felt like working together as a district, whatever happens in the next 20 minutes, But Alex, I want to say to you that you are such an inspiration. I don't know how you do it. I really honestly don't. And I think for when others would want to react and say inappropriate things, and I think, no, it's really when you, Jody, wanted to react and say, or write inappropriate things, or letter to someone at the dispatch, or whatever, and you'd say to me, I don't know if we should say it that way. I was like, you're right, and I'd have to take it down, but I don't know where that comes. That's not in me. I don't know where that comes from, but I so appreciate it in you. And I think that you have brought the board together, you've brought the district together, and I want to also thank, Bill and Maureen and Melissa, who have been in this process
What a
with
year.
us, from the get-go and all the way through it every step of the way. And I can only assume that for them, but really for Bill, having you and Sylvia as his executive team there is, Bill, you've been through a lot of board presidents and vice presidents, and I'm not asking you to say anything, but I know that these two are incomparable. I know, because I've been through a lot. And the other thing, Sylvia, I was going to say to you, somebody referenced your being a lawyer, and I was thinking, it's not always great to have a lawyer on the board. And you've been a great lawyer on the board.
There's definitely different.
But anyway, Alex, I think we all are so appreciative and want you to take some time with your family to just go out and enjoy. And it's just a little token of our appreciation.
That's incredibly kind and a big surprise, and thank you all. Thank you very much. It's been absolutely wonderful here. I hope we get what we need for these buildings. I really do. And again, I just second you as well. Thank Maureen, Melissa, Bill. I mean, every year is nuts and chaos, but this year is just exponential. Yeah. So I hope again that there's a respite from it over the summer because everybody needs it, all of us. David's going away. He's far away, right? He's getting out of here. So
I won't be at the reorg meeting.
Right. But thank you all. I really appreciate the sentiments. They mean a lot to me. They really do. And they will to Juliana as well. So thank you. Thank you. I guess we'll gavel out, right?
Yeah.
Is there a motion to...
I just keep thinking, the fact that you can be so civil at times when reactions...
I'm a twin. I have a twin sister.
Oh, you're a twin?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best.
I'm very used to lateral negotiation.
That's what
thank you again. So is there a motion to adjourn our meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Off we go. Thank you all.